There you go.
That's what that means.
Better? Thank you. Stand for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to shuffle the agenda slightly for tonight. I'm sorry, Ms. Secretary, roll call.
Mr. Carino? Yes, here. Mr. Colavita?
Here.
Mr. Footer?
Here.
Mr. Hefner?
Here.
Mr. Kozak?
Here.
Mr. McGeehan? Here. Mr. Rice is not here, he will be late. Mr. Fury?
Here.
Ms. Pellegrini? Here. Mr. Warburton?
Here.
Mr. Heverly?
Here.
Both alternates will be voting members tonight.
Okay, we're going to shuffle the agenda slightly this evening. Application number 225-26, Mark and Karen Scaringelli. Probably have to.
No, not necessarily. You were the only one that wasn't here. You were here first.
Do you have enough? Do you have enough for that?
Yeah, you only need 4.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, resolutions for memorialization. Sir?
Thank you. There's 3 resolutions on the agenda for adoption this evening. If you so choose, you can handle it by way of consent agenda, and I'll read them by title only. First is number 38, 2025, J&W Property 1 LLC. It's a use variance approval. The next is number 39, 2025, Highland Development Group LLC, lot area variance, lot frontage, and lot width approval. And finally, 4025 is Lucia Batista and Jason Garth Hugh, lot coverage variance and side yard variance, which was approved.
Okay, by consent agenda, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Take that next.
Any opposed? Next, oath for our professionals.
Okay. Both Pam and Anna, you both raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth this evening? Thank you.
Now we'll move on to the application 24-26, Mark and Karen. Can you come forward? Say that last name for us when you get up here. Scaringelli, come forward.
Okay, just by way of a summary, the applicant's requesting a side yard variance to allow 5 feet where 10 feet is required for an existing 16 by 20-foot shed, along with any other variances or waivers that are deemed necessary. Subject matter property is 1605 North Main Street.
All right, in your own words, can you let us know why you're here tonight?
Yes, I'm asking for a variance. I put a shed there a few years back, not realizing that I did need a permit, and it is off the property line like 5 feet, and I'm trying to move on with my home, trying to get a fence and everything, and thus why I'm here.
The property does have a septic on it,
It does.
so does moving anything affect the septic, like, you know?
Not at all, sir.
Any problems with water runoff in the area?
No, sir.
No complaint from neighbors that their property's being flooded
No.
since the addition of that shed? Had a chance to review the application. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Yes, sir.
The reason you can't move it is what reason?
You're asking if I can move it? Well, it's landscaped around it. I guess it could possibly be moved, but it'd be a very big inconvenience.
We bought it from the Amish market and, had it delivered like maybe 10 years or so ago.
Yeah,
And
not realizing I needed a
that we
permit, sir.
didn't know we needed a zoning permit.
The reason why variance is that you're asking for something that you can't move.
Haven't done this in a while.
I just moved it.
We've since, like my husband said, we've.
I've landscaped around it.
We didn't-
I just don't
So
know.
it's been there for quite a while. Like I don't know, just
Madam, since you're also testifying, can you just have the solicitor swear you?
I forgot to swear both of you in the beginning. So
Oh.
everything you said before is the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just one question. Just, you have to put certain things on the record so that the board can vote on it legally. Does the shed fit in with the characteristics of the neighborhood, or the other sheds, other type structures in the area? So it kind of matches
yeah,
the
yeah.
neighborhood? And would you agree as a condition you can't operate any type of business out of that shed?
Of course, sir.
Or approved? Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions from board members?
I'd just like to add to the record that Mr. Rice has arrived. Thank you.
How you doing?
Motion to open to the public.
So moved.
All in favor? Anybody from the public wishing to address the board on application 25-26, side yard variance? Seeing none, hearing none. Motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
Just to briefly summarize the application, subject matter property is 1605 North Main Street. That's in the R2 zoning district in Monroe Township. The applicants are seeking a side yard variance to allow 5 feet where 10 feet is required for an existing 16 by 20-foot shed. They've indicated that the shed fits in with the characteristics of the neighborhood. There are no drainage issues, and they've also agreed as a condition, if approved, that they will not operate any type of business out of that structure.
We've heard testimony from the applicants and our solicitor's summary. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sorry, who's first? Mr. Carino. Yeah. Mr. Fuder.
Yes.
Mr. Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Cusack.
No, because I feel it could be moved into your not.
Mr. McGeehan. Yes. Mr. Rice. I'm sorry, Mr. Rice wasn't here for that. Mr. Colavita.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, you're approved.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. May I leave?
Yeah, you're free to go.
Have a great night.
It'll be memorialized and should be ready for you by next month.
All right.
Yes, the next meeting, the resolution should be memorialized, and we'll provide you with a copy of that and the zoning office so you can move forward with your permit.
All right. Thank you.
All right, the next application on the agenda tonight, 553-SP site plan and 25-22 Davis Marine Services LLC, care of Tim Davis, represented by counsel.
Tara Vargo on behalf of the applicant. This is a preliminary and final major site plan application for the construction of a 12,000 square foot boat repair facility on a 5-acre parcel of land located at 2440 South Black Horse Pike, tax block 4103, lot 37. The property is zoned regional growth commercial. The applicant is requesting...
Ma'am, before you get into too far, Madam Secretary, can we deem the application complete?
I don't believe so.
Do we have comments from our professionals?
There are a couple items that need to be addressed before we hear the application tonight. In accordance with 175-71, this is also the updated letter after your professional have written to us and let us know what now was being requested. Under 3.1.1, topographic contours shall be provided. Contour shall extend 200 feet beyond the boundary of the proposal. A waiver has been requested for providing those contours 200 feet beyond the boundary. My apologies. Absolutely. No problem. Is that better? Yes, thank you. All right, very good. 3.1.2, an architectural plan should be provided. Architectural plans were included with the revised submission. However, they were not signed and sealed as was required. The architectural drawing should also include elevation views of the outside of the building. Under 3.1.3, size, height, location, and arrangement of all existing and proposed buildings, structures shall be provided. We have underlined height. The height was not provided. The location of existing and proposed wastewater collection facilities and potable water supplies facilities shall be indicated. Existing not being shown on the plan, it's a vacant land, so it just needs to be addressed with a waiver. Following up on that for final major site plan, 175-72, much of the same again, it's the architect's drawings showing front, side, and rear elevations, proposed use of all structures. Fire lanes under 3.2.2 should be provided, loading areas should be provided. They have not been shown on the plan, so waiver will be necessary there. The proposed location, under 3.2.3, the proposed location of all drainage, sewage, and water facilities with proposed grade sizes, capacities, and types of materials to be used. There is a septic system proposed out here. There's not as much information on the plan as should be to conform with that requirement. Under 3.2.4, the applicant shall arrange with servicing utility for the underground installation of utilities, distribution, supply lines, and service connections in accordance with the BPU. And then finally, 3.2.5, the applicant shall supply to the board upon granting final approval, written instrument from each servicing utility saying that they will provide service to that site. So those items that we just read, waiver either is needed or they can be provided. Sorry. Yes, or deferred, of course.
And that's quite a few items that are necessary for the application. I mean, how do you feel moving forward tonight with the application with so many of those items being incomplete?
I think some of them can be deferred. Some of them we would like to have some discussion on. I think especially the loading areas and the fire lanes, we would need some discussion on. But a lot of the other ones that we've talked about, we've granted waivers in the past before, and we can move forward.
Okay, so you're okay with just the testimony moving forward and granting some of these waivers?
Correct.
And waiting for the testimony?
I think we do need to hear some testimony on some of these items, correct. So as far as granting the waivers, I don't know, Chuck, if you want to wait till the end, we can decide
I
which.
think you'd have to wait till the end after they provide testimony, because it's just going to be so much overlap, because it's not bifurcated here. We have the conditional use variance mixed in with preliminary and final, so there's going to be a lot of overlapping.
Correct.
Right, everybody can hear me, can't they, even without the microphone?
Yeah, I would agree. I think we have to wait and hear some testimony from the applicant before we can act on these.
My personal opinion is I should make a motion to deem this incomplete. We've got a lot going on here. We're going to be here all night asking questions and nothing in writing. We can wait.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, sir.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Why wasn't all this provided, like, so much? Like, it's nothing that's, like, out of line, so why wouldn't it, I mean, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of these, again, granted, a lot of these are typical waivers that we see. Providing utility letters would come later, saying that they will provide service and things like that.
Yeah, I recall some of the things, like the contours and things like that.
Correct.
But the height of the building,
Right, the height of the
I
building,
mean.
loading
wait,
areas.
That stuff right there, right?
Correct.
They don't know what the height of the building's gonna be? I mean, why should, like, Bob, Bob, why should we hear and, we're, next thing you know, we're designing everything and hearing it.
Right, but some of this may be provided in their testimony and be provided on later plans, should we ask for it now.
Why wouldn't it be here now?
I can't answer that.
They're not out of line questions, right?
Correct.
It's not like we're asking for, they say, wow, that's an oddball question, right?
Correct. No, but this is information that can be provided. Sometimes it's overlooked, and sometimes there's testimony given on the reasons why.
Okay, so we still have a question of completeness. We've heard our professional, so we still have to vote on accepting our recommendations from Adam.
I'm still going to make the motion to deem it incomplete. There's too much going on here.
I'll second the motion.
I believe, just in fairness, I just want to say, they provided a lot of information to us on the application. This is a big application. There are times that things are overlooked. I think the application, in essence, is a complete application. I just think there are some things that are still outstanding. Again, some of these can be addressed very simply just from some testimony and added to the plan.
Through the
But
chair,
again-
through the chair, where the simply could be put on the application.
I agree. But some of these items waivers have been requested. They're allowed to request waivers from the board for some of these items, and they have requested some waivers. There are some things that were not addressed, though.
Well, let me ask this, Adam, did we ever give them a waiver for the height of the building?
If it's on the architect plans, all I have is a copy of this, but no, that should be information that is provided.
Right.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Upon review of their application, there are items they're asking for waivers, there are things, and some of those waivers can be addressed through testimony. Is there anything in their application that cannot be addressed through testimony?
No. To answer your question, Mr. Fitter, no. I believe that everything can be addressed in testimony or can be supplied. Simple clerical things, as far as not, sending in a sealed plan to us specifically. They can be addressed. There's nothing detrimental that did not allow us to perform a review on this plan.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor. We have to address the motion by way of vote.
Can you repeat the motion, because we couldn't hear it?
Made a motion to deem this application incomplete.
And that's based,
That's based on exactly what I'm reading here from the professionals.
from the letter from Colliers.
Yes.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Mr. Hefner, to deem the application incomplete. Aye or nay? Mr. Kozak?
Yes.
Mr. Carino?
No, because the advice of the professional.
Mr. Rice?
No, based on the advice of our professionals. I feel as though,
I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, no, based on the advice of the professionals.
Mr. McGeehan? No. Mr. Fuder?
No, based on the discussion with our professionals and seeing that the items that are outstanding can be addressed through testimony. So my vote is no.
And Mr. Colavita?
No.
Okay. So the vote for incomplete was no.
Okay, motion to deem it complete then.
It was a motion to deem it complete, so we're going to move forward
No,
and...
that was a motion to deem it incomplete. So you want to
Right.
assume it's complete, but for the record, motion to deem it complete. So the record's clear.
So moved.
Second.
We give the attorney to address that first, or do you want?
No, I think, I'll vote on that. Hold on. I'm getting real sloppy here.
Roll call?
Mr. Fuder?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Carino?
Yes.
Mr. Hefner?
No.
Mr. McGeehan?
Yes.
Mr. Colavita?
Yes.
Mr. Kozak?
No.
Thank you. 2 noes, so the yes. Deem it complete. Approved.
Very good. Madam,
Yes.
You
I
have
may
the floor.
proceed?
you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. So the applicant is requesting conditional use variances in our waivers to permit the following conditions, which were listed in the advertisement, including the use, landscape and curbing variations from the standards, relief on the buffers to residential use, relief on the number of parking spaces, or actually a determination of how many parking spaces are required where the code doesn't have a specific requirement for this proposed use, a general loading and unloading area alongside the building rather than a dedicated area as required by the code, either no trash enclosure or an enclosure substitute, design waivers from curbing specifications, a waiver from providing an environmental assessment, a waiver from showing all existing lights within 100 feet of the site, waiver from providing sidewalks along Black Horse Pike, waiver from providing a traffic impact study, and any other variance or waiver the board deems necessary. So this evening, I have 2 people to be sworn in to testify. The first is the applicant, Timothy Davis. He's principal at Davis Marine Service LLC. And the second is the engineer, William Gilmore, professional engineer from Site Civil Engineering.
Did you have both of them just come forward and just swear them in? Just state your names for the record.
Tim Davis? William Gilmore?
Okay, you swear affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
So I would like to submit
Do you want the credentials?
Yeah, you can.
Mr. Gilmore to this board as an expert in the field of engineering. I believe you have testified here before. Do you want to hear his full credentials, or are you familiar with him? And will accept him as an expert?
I don't know if the zoning board is, so I know Mr.
He-
Gilmore is
Okay.
highly credentialed, but I don't know,
Okay.
just a little bit for the record, that's all. Then offer him as an expert.
My name's William Gilmore. I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Drexel University, about 35 years' experience in land development. I'm a professional engineer in current standing, licensed in New Jersey. I'm a certified municipal engineer as well. I've been accepted by this township. I believe I have been here in the past before the zoning board. I remember a lot of faces are very familiar.
Okay, we'll accept him as an expert.
Thank you. So with that, I would like to turn the floor over to Mr. Gilmore, and he can explain the project to the board.
No problem. That's very good. Yeah, he wants.
So I have my exhibit here is a colored rendering of the site plan that was submitted in the application package. We've added some color to it to help point out different features of the site, and we've also underlaying a aerial photography to give it context. The site, to orient you to the plan, north is on a 45-degree angle straight up. The 4th-degree lane is parallel with that on a 45-degree to the top. The Black Horse Pike, Route 322, is running parallel on the site, and this whole colored area here is the entire site. You see we're only developing about 2/3 of the existing site. I'm proposing a 12,000 square foot total building. It's broken into different compartments. The first one closest to the Black Horse Pike is a 1,200 square foot office. Behind that is a process and receiving area. And there's a proposed workshop where they'll do repairs for boats. And on the rear is the closed storage area to maintain parts. So the way the site functions, it has one ingress, egress access from the Black Horse Pike. We've been reviewed by the DOT. They reviewed the layout. We made several revisions with them. They moved the drainage and access point. We're limited to a right in, right out only. There'll be no left turn lane movements out and no left turn movements in. They required us to put a mountable island there and sign it such that that does not occur. To access the site, you would be going westbound, enter the site. You have a long road distance. There's parking available, 15 parking spaces available in the front lot. The rest of the lot is fenced off for security purposes. Loading occurs in this general area. On the site plan that was included, you can see a WB67 full-size tractor trailer that can maneuver its way in and out of it securely, safely, in and out, and be secure. The drop-off loading area, this is such a large area for the tractor trailer. It will occur in this vicinity here. We're asking for a waiver not to paint that. We certainly can, if that's the board's desire. We can certainly paint that.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to do one thing if you can. Can you take your exhibit and put it over here so the board can see it, and
Sure.
maybe put it so the public can see as well? I think somebody came up to see it.
And what we're referring to, we refer to that as S1.
S1?
Yes. Call it Davis 1.
We'll also, at the end of their testimony, we'll have them turn it around so you can see it a little bit better. In front, sir, in front by this table. Yeah. And then turn it, if you can, a little bit. There you go. I think we have copies of that up here.
Take this. Okay. So I talked about the entrance, how you come in, how it turns around. We don't have a specific area for trash collection. It'll be stored internal to the building and removed by a private waste hauler, which will utilize the same path. There's ample room for that turning radius since we can fit the full-size tractor trailer in there. We did not stripe any fire loading zones yet. We want to submit it to the Township Fire Marshal to see what he requires. Again, it's wide open. There's a lot of area. We don't foresee anyone parking in front of the loading doors or in front of the doors, so I don't know if there will be any loading zones at all for the fire. I'm sorry, any fire lanes at all. Again, that's up to the direction of the Fire Marshal. The stormwater drainage is such that we're following the Pinelands. I should mention that we did receive an inconsistent certificate of filing from the Pinelands. That was of a technical nature. On the plan when we submitted it, we're
proposing soil replacement due to slower permeability soils on the top of the site, and then we're over excavating them to better soils underneath to ensure the proper drainage. We are replacing with K5 sand, which is up to 20 inches per hour. The Pineland says it can't be greater than 20 inches per hour. It's kind of just a technicality. We've revised the plans to be up to 20 inches per hour, not over 20 per hour, so we'll meet the Pinelands and have a full certificate of filing and should receive a no call-up letter if this project proceeds forward. It's set up to handle nitrogen reduction, as also all the other DEP, water quantity, quality, and groundwater recharge. So we achieve that by a treatment train. The water flows off on a sheet flow fashion to a grass strip that will remove nitrogen, and then it will enter into stormwater management facility and function like every other basin that's not in the Pinelands area. The reason we're asking for a waiver from CURB is because that is a major part of the stormwater management system, to do a treatment train, to have the grass swale and do that. So you'll see there is no curbing along that area. And again, that's for sheet flow. To do a grass swale, you cannot concentrate flows. Curbing will concentrate flows. So to meet the stringent requirements of Pinelands, that is what we designed, and that happens all over. The site will be serviced by a proposed septic system, which will be designed and approved by another firm, and will be approved by Gloucester County Board of Health, which we will submit and provide with the board engineer with the proper approvals. We were asking for a waiver from a traffic study. The DOT did not require the waiver due to the minor trip generation that would occur. It's a boat repair yard. The boats will come in, they'll be staged, and it's kind of not a really high traffic producing site. Let's see, we are lighting up the site around the building. We have proposed some down facing sharp cutoff LED luminaires that will not project glare from the site onto adjacent properties. They all occur within this area here. We are not lighting anything out. We received some comments from the engineer that we're a little not lighting up enough in this area at the entrance drive. We'll simply adjust one of the lights to cover that, and that should take care of that issue. Back to the DOT, they did not require sidewalk along the frontage. There's no sidewalk there. We are asking the township for a waiver from the sidewalk since the DOT did not request it. We are asking for some other waivers as far as buffering. We are providing a 10-foot of buffer area where I believe 15 feet is required on the sides. I did notice in the review letter that looks like there's 3 feet back there. We are asking for that waiver there. Grab my notes.
When you say back there, you mean in the rear of the property?
The rear of the property, right, to the rear, adjoining to Lot 41, which is also in the RGC zone. All the surrounding lots are in the commercial zone. However, they are occupied with residential dwellings. The parking, the ordinance doesn't speak specifically to a boat repair. We tried to follow along with the most closest one, which would be an automotive repair, although I believe we would require a lot less because it's a boat facility. People are making appointments, and they're picking up the boats and bringing them in, the employees here, or they are scheduled delivery. With an auto repair, I think you'd have more customers driving in with cars and need a place to park and that nature. So we're proposed 15, where 30 required per that ordinance. We're asking the board for an interpretation on the parking to see if the board feels that we have enough parking. Mr. Davis can expand upon the number of employees on a maximum shift and those things that he'll be able to help us out with later in the testimony. We're asking for a preliminary assessment waiver. Don't we do phase one? I don't believe we have a phase one. If we did, we can certainly provide that. This operation, again, is very low trip generating, will not produce any odor, any glare, any noxious fumes, anything that would be offensive to a surrounding neighborhood. We are landscaping all the areas that are disturbed on the site with either landscaping or lawn areas, and again, the treatment train of the grass swale. Essentially, that's the project. Pretty straightforward. I'm available to answer any questions, or if I missed anything, please let me know.
I think we'll go to our professional first. Take it.
Mr. Chair, if they have any other testimony, business operations, things like that, that we're going to hear about,
Yes.
just so we can address our whole letter in one fell swoop.
Okay.
If-
This is being recorded, so please just keep in mind to, speak into the microphone. Okay, so can you please tell the board about how your, let's start with your hours of operation.
Okay, hours of operation are 7 to 4, Monday through Friday. That's it, during the week.
And how many people come on, so you have an existing business right now. This is an existing business, correct? And so you have experience with this business and what kind of traffic you're going to have coming in and out of your site. Is that true?
Yes.
And can you please tell the board about how many times what's the frequency of visitors, customers?
So people that would be on the property is employees. It's rare that customers actually would come to our property. Most of our work is at the customer's location on their boat. We work on commercial marine equipment, so large fishing boats and boat barges. So most things don't come back to the shop. And if they do, it's engine or component that we're rebuilding and taking back to the boat. So as far as customers coming and going, it's mostly employees and deliveries that are coming.
And based on the number of employees you have and how many shifts are worked?
Just one.
One shift. And what's the typical number of employees you have on that shift?
7.
And tell us about them coming and going, reporting to the site in the morning. How many of them actually come to the site?
That varies daily. So most of the guys will go to their job from home. There's 2 employees that will man the facility, so they're there Monday through Friday during working hours. And technicians come and go for parts or whatever it may be.
So are any of your employees leaving a personal vehicle at the site and then going out to a job, or how does that work?
The technicians all have service trucks, so the only employees that have their personal vehicle are the ones that are working in the office.
So your testimony was typically you have 2 people maybe so the number of parking spaces that is suggested by a light industrial use, we're asking for a waiver that I think it was 30 maybe, and we maybe designed something around 14, 15. So do you feel that 15, knowing your business and how it operates, 15 is sufficient?
I do. I think it's adequate.
And let's talk about what kind of deliveries come to your site.
Typically just the standard UPS or FedEx truck. Occasionally we do get like a larger box truck or tractor trailer. That's not as frequent, maybe a few a month, but mostly it's just your daily, freight vehicle.
So do you, have you found the need in your experience with this business? Incidentally, how many years have you been running this business?
10 years, since 2015.
All right, and in those 10 years, have you had the need to have a loading dock, like an elevated loading dock?
No, we're able to unload anything with just a forklift, and that's really it.
So even with the 18-wheelers, when they come, you're able to offload or
Yes.
unload things without a dock?
Correct.
We've talked about the need, whether or not a trash enclosure is needed. How do you plan to handle, what kind of trash, what's the volume of trash that gets generated by your business?
I mean, it's typically very little. It's a lot of recyclables, cardboard boxes, whatever trash the office will produce. So I would say either a small, 3 to 5 or 1 to 3 yard dumpster, or even, just regular, several trash cans, and that would be it.
So typically, when you have a commercial business, the desire for the municipality is to have that trash area and have it screened off. Tell me how you plan to keep that 1 to 3 yard dumpster from looking unsightly as it's parked on your site.
It'll be within the fenced area, and the fenced area, we can do the lattice that goes through the fence to kind of surround or guard the trash area.
Sir, if you can try to speak up a little bit,
Understood.
the air conditioning is drowning out, so.
So to disguise the dumpster, we can use the lattice that would go through the fence. We could choose a section within the fenced area to house that, and if that's satisfactory, that's what we'll do to contain and keep it appealing, essentially.
So you're saying that you'll accept some reasonable conditions to screening wherever the trash can ends up to be, rather
Yes.
than having a separately constructed trash enclosure?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Let's see, how about noise? What kind of noise gets generated from your business?
Typically, it's the forklift. I mean, that's what you're going to hear. Vehicles coming and going. That's pretty much it.
Okay. And do you have any expansion plans beyond this proposed building here?
I think this is going to be plenty for foreseeable future. I don't see that we'll need another facility. We're most likely going to gain more employees being able to do this, but I don't think that we're going to have to expand from here.
Okay. Does any of the board members have questions for the applicant?
Yeah, just a couple things. You spoke about repairs on site. How do you handle oil, gas spills, contaminants such as that?
So there's two companies. Safety Clean's the one that we deal with, and they take care of solvents in the wash tanks, but they also provide a service for waste oil. So that's how we would, take care of, if you call it hazardous waste oil or whatever it may be.
And you have an existing contract with them, am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Also, regarding the warehouse, is it your business only? There's going to be no other types of businesses in there?
Nope, just Davis Marine Service.
And you
What kind
would
of
agree,
things
as
that
any condition of approval, that it's only going to be your business and you would have to come back for a variance if you want to rent it out to other businesses?
I don't, no.
Just so
I'm
we're
not.
clear. A lot of
Yeah.
times people,
There's no intention to
well
rent it out.
intended, so.
This is for us, and I would like to keep it that way.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
repairs or having things inside the building?
Yep, yes.
Nothing, no repair work will be done outside the building?
No, it'll be unloading and loading
Right.
outside, but
Yeah, doing
everything's,
stuff in it, and
yes.
repair work to do inside.
Yep, that's the,
Nothing
no,
outside.
that's the
There-
goal.
with storage, I know you said large boats. Obviously, they're not coming there,
No.
right? So outside storage, would you have?
Could just be outside storage for new units that we're either looking to sell, and when I say new units, generators and propulsion engines, whatever it may be, overflow from large inventory from the parts department.
And they can't be stored inside and everything?
Some items are rather large, so they would be potentially stored outside, but most of the time, if we get items like that, they go to the customer's location, and that's where it's typically delivered. We wouldn't take delivery to us, it just goes direct to the customer.
That's why I was asking if it's gonna be outside of your spot, not there.
Potential overflow, that's about it. Service vehicles,
Not big,
all right.
vehicles you shouldn't be repairing outside of the
No.
parking lot.
Oh,
That's-
you're asking for what we're repairing outside?
What would be outside, not vehicles, obviously registered and licensed vehicles would use it, but what equipment or would be stored outside? What's gonna be outside?
Nothing really, because forklift would go inside at night, and that's it. It's an area to load and unload and, you know,
So you won't have no outside storage of parts and equipment?
not as of now. I mean, there may be some, like I said, overflow or items that we purchase as far as generators go.
Let's say, I'm thinking just like cars that show
Right.
up, we're gonna keep this engine block out here, because someday we're gonna use it.
Sure.
Somebody else, that won't take place at your place
The potentials are there, yeah.
for outside storage.
Right, yeah.
Chair. So the way the building's set up here, there's not going to be any Connex boxes, storage sheds, nothing like that installed?
No.
Okay, and the sale of equipment there, will you be doing any selling at all to the public?
Selling to the public?
Yeah, you're going to be selling boats, trailers?
No, no boats or trailers, and typically it's, the work we do is commercial and it's not for the general public.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Good, sir.
just a few quick questions for you, sir. Part of the facility will be a repair structure, so it's going to be inside bays, like you're going to back a boat in there and you're going to work on it and pull it back out. How do you intend to address washdown water inside your building? For instance, do you intend to install an oil water separator at that point so oil or other contaminants don't get into the stormwater basin?
Understood. We're not washing boats, and any engines or components that we bring back, we're not going to wash with water. They're going to be cleaned in the parts washers and items like that. So
Well,
it's
no,
not
I mean,
being
that's not what
collected.
I meant. Like,
Okay.
how are you going to keep the floors clean?
How are we going to keep what?
The floors of the shop clean?
Good point. Assume mopping, but typically you're going to clean up, if there's oil, you're going to clean it up and not leave it on the ground. So just
The
like
reason I
mopping
bring it
the
up
shop.
is most your generic repair shops,
Right.
they address that issue because there's going to be, you're working on an engine, something's going to get on the ground.
Yeah, you're gonna make a
Okay, you're going to, if you wash it into a floor drain,
Right.
it ends up in the retention basin.
True.
So a lot of facilities put in an oil water separator, and I just was asking your opinion on that.
Okay.
Okay?
understood.
The basin out, the stormwater basin outside?
Yes.
I see it's right there on the edge of your parking lot.
Yes.
Is that going to be fenced in?
The
Because you want a waiver for curbing, okay, but you don't want somebody driving in it, you know?
True.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know.
The engineer should address that design.
okay. No, I'm talking about the side where the retention basin is, right in there, and along that length from one end to the other. That's your parking lot you're turning tractor trailers around in, right? Well, okay, but I'm saying your retention basin is right off the edge.
That will be fenced in. So
Okay.
where the tractor trailers will turn around will be fenced in.
It's already fenced, and we have curb stops along here, and our vehicles will.
You know, understand what I mean? You don't want to be overshooting and
and-
driving in the basin, you know?
I understand that.
The only area right here
Mm-hmm.
is not protected. You can certainly ask the curb stops or something like that. It looks nice.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get you. It was a safety concern for me. My last question is this. On your drawing on sheet 4 of 6, you are showing a well for potable water? Okay. What's your intention for fire suppression?
We can work that out with the fire marshal. We can put a stand tank in there, wires.
Well, that would have to be shown, you know?
Fire marshal, take this on. Certainly do whatever required.
All right. Well, I mean, there is a code for that, and whatever the marshal said, that's going to be an approval required. Normally, people in that do those sort of applications will have a well feeding a standpipe, you know, to supply fire suppression water for 2 hours or whatever the marshal says, you know. But that's not indicated on your drawing, and that's going to be a big piece. So where would that be cited? becomes the
Generally,
question.
it's an outside agency approval, and you're correct the point you're making, but it's an outside agency approval,
Yeah, and we can
which would
work
be the
with-
construction, fire marshal, and so on, so.
Right, what that looks like and how much fire suppression is required, yeah, that's something we will comply with.
Correct, and I understand the code requirements and all that. That's the marshal's purview. I was just curious as to where you would just put it, you know? I mean, even if you put a circle on the little drawing and say, hey, it's here.
We can still utilize the plans to describe that location. Yeah, I don't think it's some 60-foot tall tower either. I think it's,
It's whatever the marshal says.
correct.
Yeah,
We will comply with the outside police and
okay,
find out before we comply.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from board members?
And one other thing, Mr. Gilmore, you had mentioned that the architectural plans that we submitted showed the height of the building. Can either one of you two gentlemen let the board know what is the proposed height of the structure?
26 feet to the peak.
I'm sorry.
26 feet to the peak.
26.
And we will be providing signed, stamped, sealed architectural plans with the revised plans.
Through the chair.
One more question?
Yeah. For the engineer. It looks like in the back, the buffer zone where it's required 50 feet, some areas look like they're three or 4 feet. What's the reason? Why can't we meet that requirement? Looks like there's more than enough ground back there.
Yeah, so it does look like a spot, a really spot, the layout of the building, that is a concern, we can, actually make some adjustments to adjust that.
Yeah, move it over.
Yeah, we could, move that down, get that, there's a part of the stormwater system that swales through there, we can certainly, move this out, I guess, of course, looking for a totally tree area, I think I read somewhere in code at the, landscape plan, evergreen type of, plantings and more lawn area, so I'm just trying to understand what the board's desire is in that area, and we'll comply with that.
Yeah, it's going to be referred to the engineer. My big concern is the 50-foot buffer. There's residents that live there. 3 feet, I think, is really encroaching an awful lot. So if to me, that's a big issue. I think that's something that needs to be redesigned or set up a little bit differently to even come close.
We can certainly do that, and work with the landscape architect board and their engineer.
I'm good.
Madam, do you have additional testimony?
No, we do not.
You ready, Adam?
And if you could just mark your, I know there were 2 letters, just mark whichever letter you're referring to, the date of that, and we're going to call it MTZB 1.
Will do.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'm going to read from the September 19, 2025 letter. We actually updated our August 7th, 2025 letter to produce a brand-new letter of what still needed to be addressed in our September 19, 2025 letter. So I'll be going off that letter. So we heard testimony tonight about the proposal in front of us. The applicant is seeking multiple D3 conditional use variances to permit a light industrial conditional use within the RGC zoning district. There are conditions that are contained within 175, 161.6 for light industrial manufacturing and wholesale distribution and warehouse facilities. The first condition being the property to be developed shall be located to the east of Malaga New Brooklyn Road. The proposed plan meets this requirement. The second being no noxious, offensive, or hazardous use shall be permitted unless adequate provision is made to reduce and minimize such objectionable elements. Use shall be required to meet or exceed all government standards governing said elements. I think we heard a little bit of testimony about that, about hazards being air, any kind of pollution, things like that, that's going to be generated. Going down to number 3, should the proposed use raise questions of public health, safety, welfare, the board may bring in consultants and other independent experts as the board deems necessary for their evaluation and opinion. The cost of the independent consultant or expert shall be borne by the applicant from the escrow fees posted. In my review of the application, and I could let Pam speak to this a little bit as well, I don't believe there's any glaring public health or safety issues with the site. It sounds like the site is going to be designed to handle tractor trailers, to keep the public mostly out and on the periphery. They're not going to really be in the backside of the site where the repair work is happening. So I believe we heard testimony on that as well. No building may be erected, altered, or used, and no premises may be within 100 feet of a residential district or use. The buildings are more than 100 feet from the residential. It's the RGC in the rear there. No occupancy permit shall be granted to a proposed new use without first conforming with the requirements for site plan approval. Site design shall require maximum attention to proper site design considerations, including the location of structures, parking areas, proper ingress and egress, development of an interior street system, architectural, basically your engineering design, which we heard some testimony tonight from the engineer about the overall layout of the design, some of the stormwater aspects, and the reasons why relief is needed. At least the first 30 feet adjacent to any street line and 20 feet adjacent to any lot line shall be planted and maintained in lawn or ground cover or landscaped with evergreen shrubbery, and shall be separated from parking area by suitable curbing as determined by the township's land management ordinance and the planning board during site plan review. The plan does not conform to this requirement as proposed. The condition has not been met. One of the reasons why a conditional use variance is being requested. Coming down to number 8, 4.1.8, no merchandise, products, waste equipment, or similar material or object shall be displayed or stored outside except for outdoor storage of mobile equipment. I just want to hear a little bit more testimony because I have some conflicting notes here about if products being stored outside that are going to be sold or that may be sold that are sitting outside, or so if we could just hear a little bit more to address that condition, that'd be great. All portions of the property not utilized by buildings or paved surfaces shall be appropriately landscaped. Number 10, a minimum buffer of 50 feet in width shall be provided along any common property line with residential district or use in accordance with 175-93. Plan does not conform to this requirement. Proposing a 3-foot minimum buffer to a residential use in the rear. This condition has not been met. Conditional use variance is required because this condition has not been met. When it comes to parking, parking shall be as required in 175-123. There are no specific parking requirements for a boat repair maintenance facility. So we did go off of an automotive repair garage that requires 1 stall for every 400 square feet of gross floor area. This would yield a requirement of 30 stalls, as council alluded to. The plan does not conform to this requirement as a total of 15 stalls are proposed. We heard a little bit of testimony about who's going to be on site. I believe I heard 7 employees, 2 being on site at all times, the rest being mobile, coming to and from the site. I'll let Pam speak a little bit as far as the parking requirements go, but I don't see a large parking demand here unless there's going to be things for sale to the public, unless people are going to be coming in, picking up their boats, leaving, looking at boats, things like that. I don't believe we heard testimony about that. It seems like this is just going to be a repair and maintenance facility. Going down to 4.1.12, each activity shall provide for off-street loading and unloading. Again, we heard some testimony about the need for loading and unloading. It sounds like it can be done with a forklift, unloading pallets or whatever comes to the facility. The dedicated loading area, I don't know if it's necessarily needed to be dedicated, but we do need loading space for unloading. We don't want to have any conflicts in the rear there. This is another condition that the plan does not reflect a proposed loading area. That's, again, why the conditional use variance is needed. Shall be at least 1 trash and garbage pickup location provided. The plan did not show a trash enclosure. It sounds like a trash enclosure with a privacy slat fence is going to be proposed. We haven't seen that yet. That's another condition contributing to the use variance. All development shall comply with the schedule limitations with respect to the requirements for setback and coverage. Minimum buffer of 50 feet is required under that schedule limitations. The plan does not conform, as we discussed before, with a minimum of 3 feet proposed. I think that's going to be One of the conditions, I would like to hear more about what is being proposed as far as the buffers go in the rear of the property where 3 feet is being proposed. Just to reiterate, again, a conditional use variance is being requested here. The applicant must demonstrate to the board that despite the failure to conform with all of the ordinance conditions, the site remains appropriate for the conditional use. That's the positive criteria. Speaking to the negative criteria, in addition, the applicant must demonstrate the conditions can be imposed in its approval to ensure that the deviations from the conditional use requirements that I've stated do not cause substantial impairment of the intent and purpose of the master plan and zoning ordinance. It's the negative criteria. I'd like to hear a little bit more to the positive and negative criteria. That is why we're here, is for a conditional use variance for the D3 variance. So I'd like to hear a little bit more testimony to that. Depending on your take, Mr. Chair, we could either hear more testimony on that right now, or I can continue through the rest of the letter. That's
I heard you say some may be addressed by Pam as well?
correct. Yeah, some of the site, more of the
the
site,
site.
curb, parking, things like that, things that are required under the conditional use standards, but pertain more to the site. But again, they are required to provide testimony that conditions can be made on what they're requesting relief from, and that there will not be substantial impairment
Okay,
to the
well, it
zone.
sounds like you would prefer the testimony to happen now.
And
I would.
if I may, Adam, just for the board's edification, just for your review, he's on page 4 of 15, when he went through zoning requirements 4.11, all the way to the 4.114. These are all the conditions that are required under chapter 175, 168, 1.6. So in your consideration, that's what you have to kind of contemplate among yourselves, so.
Would you like their professional?
I would like a little bit more testimony testifying to the positive in that criteria, and actually, giving us a little bit more.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, addressing these items in 4.1 is essentially what you're asking for, correct?
Correct.
Right, okay. So, we've addressed that there are no noxious, offensive, or hazardous uses permitted on the, will be taking place on the site. That's 4.1.2. 4.1.3, I didn't hear anyone raise any questions of public health, safety, or welfare on the site, and the activity, as was stated by the applicant, is conducted mostly off-site. There is some repair of parts that may be brought back to the site, but this is generally not impacting the public in any way, public health or safety. Um, 4.1.4.
We'll take comment from the gallery in a little bit and give you an opportunity to also look at their display here. Go ahead, ma'am.
We met the requirements of 4.1.4 as noted here. So down to 4.1.6, testimony requested, site design, considerations, location of structures and parking areas. We've talked about the need for reduced or the lack of necessity to have the analogous parking, which the planner has chosen to use, I guess, the standards for an auto repair facility. This isn't 100% analogous to an auto repair facility. That would be where people are bringing their, vehicles on site. The applicant has testified as to, how he is different from that. Most of the work is done off-site on large commercial vessels, and so that is not really an analogous thing, wouldn't really apply for the parking. And let's see, 4.1.7, the applicant is open to doing any kind of planting as far as creating buffer zones, modifying the buffer that he's got there to address any concerns about, inadequate buffer zones. So we do need to address the displaying and storing things outside. So I would like Mr. Davis to provide some clarification. You said to the board that you might have something coming and being stored outside. Can you provide a little bit more detail about that?
Some products that come in, you know, they could be stored outside, but if that becomes an issue or it is an issue, then we would make space in the secondary service area, like furthest away from the road, for inside storage, and that way they would eliminate that concern and problem.
Okay, so you're saying that you can run this business with no outside storage, or
Yes.
overnight putting things inside,
Yeah.
but there's not gonna be anything outside stored
Correct.
on a regular basis? Okay. 4.1.9, appropriate landscaping. Have you already addressed that landscaping? The engineer had addressed that testimony. 4.1.10, I had also proffered to you that we can amend the buffer areas to provide more buffer. We'll provide landscape screening and things like that to the board's satisfaction. 4.111, I mentioned about the parking. 4.112. So the dedicated loading area, the applicant has testified that, or his engineer has testified that the way the business works is when they do get a FedEx type delivery truck that comes in, things that are offloaded by the garage door, which is an overhead door that's by what's it called there on the plan? A shipping.
Garage door there for deliveries to be received and shipments taken.
A shipping receiving area. If you want to call it having a designated shipping receiving area, as the engineer testified, we can stripe the ground around that and call it a shipping, you know, make it a little more clear that that's where product should, or even put a sign on the door, shipping
Yeah.
receiving department, something like that. This is something that
Signage
can
would
be.
definitely be there on the personnel door that would be next to the garage door, saying shipping, receiving, just for, people bringing products to know that's where to go.
And you did point to the right side of the building facing the front.
It'll be on the left side, so this will be the turnaround for delivery, and the garage door will be on the left side of the building, with the personnel door next to it to give access, for just day-to-day boxes, packages.
You got-
There won't be any loading or unloading. I know you didn't ask for business hours, but we'll just say it'll only be during regular business hours. There won't be
Yeah.
any loading or unloading. Whatever. So it's not like at night.
No,
No,
it'll-
just to clarify.
Okay.
That if you say, yeah, we do get shipments all the time, then
Right.
we're aware of it.
Got it. No, things are scheduled for Monday through Friday, during
No,
business
the
hours. Between 7 and 4.
Okay. The need for a distinct trash enclosure. I mean, while the applicant can surely, carve out a space to put what you might call a traditional trash enclosure, if you want, say, 10-foot wide, 5-foot deep, I don't know what size that would be. But I guess the point that the applicant testified to was that if he has slats in his fenced-in area, it'll be screened to the public. And maybe the really intent behind having a dedicated trash enclosure is alleviated by him doing that. But if that's not satisfactory, we can put a separate area that's a trash enclosure that can fit, a dumpster can fit into.
Sure. And I assume
I-
it'd just be fenced, I imagine, fenced in area?
Right.
Okay.
Let's see, buffer, we discussed something, 4.1.14, we discussed the buffers that we can do some redesign work or provide landscape buffering to alleviate any potential negative impact that a reduced buffer would have. Okay, I guess that's the end of 4.1. So, do you feel that we've addressed the issues in 4.1 to your satisfaction?
Mr. Chair, if I may. So,
Go ahead.
So in your testimony, you would believe that the site remains appropriate for the conditional use based on the reasons that you provided?
Okay, I was going to say that in my closing, but sure, let's see. We think that providing this area advances the purposes of zoning and that it provides an appropriate place for this kind of activity. It's in a commercial zone. You're calling it a light industrial activity, but we know that the intensity of the use here, the number of traffic in and out of the site, and how the site is used, it is really more equivalent to a commercial use, even less than a retail use. That it's a large site, it's buffered from adjoining uses. We're only planning to clear that which is necessary to, you know, maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't seen the lot. It's all wooded lot basically right now. So we're planning to keep as much of the surrounding trees that are on the lot there for buffering as possible. And the design did propose some tree clearing close to a residential use, and we are agreeing that we can modify that to restore some kind of a balance with the buffering. So I feel that our argument is that the intensity of the use is low. There are no nuisance factors that have been alleged with the operation of this business, and it's particularly suited for this use. It does not significantly impair the zoning plan because any impact that it has on the surrounding uses will not be so damaging as to create a substantial detriment to the public good. And those are the planning reasons for granting the justifications for granting a use variance.
Ma'am, just wanted to question, did you have a planner that you were offering as well, or?
No.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Adam, do you have any other additional questions? Anything that
No,
remains?
Mr. Chair, I believe that addressed everything. Just a couple notes on the trash enclosure that I would offer, a couple recommendations that I would offer. We do have a section in the code now that fully governs trash enclosures and what is to be provided and how they're supposed to be landscaped and their walls and things like that. I do not have the actual code section in front of me right now, but I would just ask the applicant to comply with the requirements within that section for a trash enclosure. Good.
Would that enclosure be inside this fence area that he's talking about on the left?
Our trash enclosures, the way that they're laid out, they're supposed to work with the facade of the building. They're supposed to kind of blend in. So I don't know if particularly what I'm thinking of, which is chain link fence with green privacy slats in it. I don't know if that's something would necessarily match with your building. We would ask for something a little bit.
Something a color that would, per se, blend in better with the building. So whether it's black slats or whatever it may be, to just make it more appealing, because like you're saying, green kind of just stands out and it's not very appealing to anybody. So we would do something that would look appealing and it's not obnoxious.
Okay, and because you're before us tonight, you're willing to work with all those conditions that are contained within our ordinance as far as trash enclosures go, because there are other requirements as far as landscaping and things like that go that are in the ordinance that haven't been addressed. You're not requesting waivers from them or anything like that. I just want to make sure.
Understood.
Okay, all right, very good. The other point under the conditional use that I'll just address now is the buffers. We heard a little bit of testimony that they're going to work with some buffers and things like that, and that's okay. What I would recommend as far as the buffers go, in the rear where we're talking about these residential properties, they are cutting back significantly. Again, panel, I don't want to steal your thunder, but you'll allude to this a little bit more. They are grading. Their stormwater drainage is in the back there. They're trying to make the stormwater drainage work, which is why the clearing limit seems to, from my opinion, go to where it goes on the property and the way it's shown. What I would say is if we are needing to clear that much, if you are proposing to clear that much, that we maybe white privacy fence goes up along that back, and then I would say arborvitae's on their side of the property in front of that be planted and staggered along that rear property line. That way, the privacy fence is there to kind of attenuate noise. As the arborvitaes grow up, they'll actually create a solid buffer that'll be back there. I'm not sure the exact species. They could be deciduous right now, they could be evergreen, but those new evergreens will eventually grow up, create a solid buffer to where nobody will see the building from those residents in the back. And in the meantime, they'll have the 6-foot privacy fence there as well in the rear of the facility. I just think it would benefit the applicant as far as security goes and keeping people off their property. So I would just ask if that's amenable to the applicant, and if the board agrees with that, that be something that's considered as we move forward here through the rest of our letter.
Adam, are you talking about the entire property line in the back? You did allude to the retention basin, not just the retention basin, the entire property line in the back?
Correct. It's that rear property, so the rear property line goes from, if we're looking at the right-hand corner, yep, follow it right to that point, where the residents are against that back property line right there. Beyond that is still commercial zone. That's where we would ask for the extension of that.
Okay.
Through the chair, it's Adam.
Good, sir.
Adam, with the retention ponds, I noticed in the application, there's no elevations provided for the properties behind it or around it. In the event of the basin failure, where's the water going?
So I'll let their engineer speak to that a little bit. If there is a basin failure, I would imagine it's coming down. I'm looking at the grading plan right now. There's an overflow, as I expected. There's an overflow right down by the Black Horse Pike. It shows an outlet control structure. I'm stealing Pam's thunder a little bit, but that comes out to the pike there. So in the event that that basin starts failing, the soils aren't working, it's not perking, it'll go up to that outlet control structure. The basin top is supposed to be higher than that outlet control structure. That way the water goes in and out to the pike before it goes into adjacent properties. We'll go through the bulk requirements and continue on with our letter. Under the bulk requirements, section 4.4, most of the bulk requirements have been met here. The plan conforms to most of them, except for the minimum buffer. This was one of the conditional use standards that we talked about. Bulk variance has been requested and is required. We've talked about that a little bit and what we would recommend for that. I'm going to skip over the buffer section here. I believe, we've talked about that enough. There will be a decision, a little bit more conversation. Go ahead, Pam. I'll let you consider with 5.2. I've done enough talking.
I just want to add to the buffers. I mean, the fencing and arborvitae situation along the rear, providing that is one option. Another option is to change the drainage basin in that area so that it doesn't encroach as close to the residences and they can push it into the side area that they have a little more. So that is another option that the board can look at for them to work with us on the buffers. Still providing the fence, anything less than the 50-foot with a minimum of 25-foot of plantings, a fence would be an advantageous addition to any landscaping that's back there. The buffers also affect, there's on the left side of the property where the stormwater basin comes down that western property line. That clearing is close to the property line as well, and I believe there's a residence on that property as well. So we would like to see at least additional landscaping be provided along the side of the basin there to provide and not clear right to the property line or within 4 feet of the property line. Next is curb and gutters. They're asking for a curbing waiver. The way the site is designed, they're utilizing a best management practice of vegetated filters adjacent to the parking lots and adjacent to the paving areas in the back in order to get the water to the stormwater basin. A best management practice of using grass filters is a requirement of providing green infrastructure on the site. So curbing would impede that and concentrate flow. And being that there's a fenced area in the back, curbing I don't believe is required. And we already discussed in the front parking lot that curbing is not necessary, and advantageous is a necessary item for the parking, minimal parking that's in the front, and is set off the pike.
Mr. Chairman, if I can ask you about the curbing. Yes, I understand, but my question would be, there should be, or in my opinion, there should be curbing along the side facing 322. I understand around the outside of it with stormwater structures impeding flow, but actually on the face of the highway, that should be curbed. Or is that not what you think?
I'm just talking about the curbing around the parking lot.
Okay, well, the section in your letter clearly states local, county, state highways.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
If
So that's my point. I mean, not putting curb around the property, okay, I get it, But along the face of the highway, no problem with that one.
They're asking for a waiver of that. So that's up for the board's consideration.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next item is environmental assessment. The plan does not conform to this requirement. They have not provided an environmental assessment. A waiver had been requested, but if my notes are correct, they said that the engineer said they will provide. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I was trying to engineer about the curbing matter. Which one are you on?
Environmental assessment.
We were requesting a waiver from providing that.
Okay, but I believe the engineer provided testimony that they would provide it if the board requires it. Okay, so that is up to the board. It is a wooded site, has had no prior development on it, so that would be an area where, a situation where you could consider a waiver for an environmental assessment. Grading and filling, the plan don't conform to specific requirements of grading and filling in certain limited areas. So it is noted that a note should be added to the plan stating the above, stating those requirements so that they can meet them. So it's just simply adding a note to the plan, and the engineer indicated in his response letter that they would comply with that. Lot grading and drainage, there is a swale on the site that does not conform to our minimum requirement of 2%. It is a 1% swale. We recommend the applicant revise to a 1%, the 1% swale to achieve a minimum slope of 2%. And the applicant's engineer's response letter to us, to our letter, indicated that they would revise to conform to the 2%. Under lighting,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. if I may. Did the applicant agree to go to 2%?
Yes.
They provided testimony to that.
They did not provide to that testimony, they provided a response letter, but they can
Okay.
put testimony on the record.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The plan does not conform to the requirement of light shields to prevent spillover onto adjacent properties. As no light shields have been proposed, light shields should be indicated and included and noted on the plans. This is an item that the engineer in his response letter said that they would comply with. The maximum mounting height of a pole-mounted luminaire shall be a maximum of 16 feet and a minimum of 12 feet, as the height of the pole is measured from the ground. The plan does not note that the concrete the concrete bases of the light poles, if exposed, should be finished to be similar in color to the building facade. The plan should note that the concrete bases, if exposed, should be finished to a similar color as the building facade. This is another item that the applicant's engineer indicated that they would comply with. In accordance with 175-116A, the lighting plan should be designed to take into consideration providing lighting for the hours of operation of the proposed use. As a note should be added to the plan for the lighting to be on a timer or a photocell controller. The applicant's engineer indicated in his response letter that they would comply with that requirement. All existing lights within 100 foot of the site in question, including location of poles and luminaries. Existing lights within 100 feet of the site are not shown on the plan, so therefore a waiver has been requested. Photometric data should be shown on the plan either with Isolux lines isolated up to 2.0, 1.0, 0.5, and 0.25 foot candle lines. The plan should note whether the lines are initial or maintained. The plan does not show the 0.25 foot candle line as proposed. A waiver is required. I believe the applicant has requested a waiver. Or are you willing to provide that on the plan? Will comply? The site fronts along State Highway US 322 and as such will require NJDOT permits. We defer all comments regarding the drive entrance to the NJDOT. The applicant's testimony is that they've been in contact with NJDOT and have been working with the plan with NJDOT and working towards a permit. In accordance with 175-123C, parking and loading areas, especially commercial and industrial uses, shall be buffered from adjoining streets, existing residential uses, or any residential zoning district in a manner meeting the objectives of the buffer section of this chapter. The paved and stone yard areas should be adequately buffered from the adjacent residential use. We recommend buffer plantings along the property line. So this falls in line with the other buffer comments that we've made. We've also had previous discussions on the proposed plan does not show a dedicated loading space. A dedicated loading space should be provided. Discussion and testimony to this point is that they would provide a loading and receiving, delivery and receiving sign to indicate where that loading space would be. We've also had discussions about the trash enclosure area. The proposed plan does not show a dedicated trash enclosure area. We recommended that a dedicated space be provided, and the applicant has agreed to do so. Unless otherwise permitted, fire zones shall not be used as standing loading or unloading areas. We defer to the fire marshal regarding the location of the fire zones on site, which testimony has been provided that they would work with the fire marshal and add to the plans whatever fire zones are required, and fire suppression. 5.7.3.5 talks about loading areas. Again, testimony has been provided regarding same. So does 5.7.3.6. That also involves loading and unloading, and that it not be permitted in any required front yard area. And testimony has provided that it would be on the left side of the building, in the rear, on the rear side of the building. For parking, in accordance with 175-123, 1, automotive repair garage and body shop shall have one parking space for 400 square foot, resulting in 30 stalls required, and as such, they're proposing 15 stalls. Numerous testimony has been provided as to their needs for parking, and that the 15 stalls versus the 30 stalls would be adequate, more than adequate for their use. For sidewalks, the plan does not conform to sidewalks. A waiver has been requested. There is no other sidewalk in the area, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Where the requirement for sidewalk is waived, a graded area should be provided. Should the board you choose to grant the waiver for installation of sidewalk, a 10-foot wide graded area should be provided, and the applicant has agreed in their response letter to comply. Site triangles. The length of the site triangle should be shown on the plans. The applicant in their response letter has agreed to comply. In accordance with 175-135C2, one freestanding sign per street frontage is permitted, provided said sign does not exceed an area of 50 square feet on each side, and further provided that the maximum height above grade does not exceed 20 feet, with the lowest portion of the sign being at least 8 feet above grade. The sign is shown on the plans as 50 square feet. Details have not been provided regarding the height above grade for the sign. Testimony should be provided and details added to the plans. The applicant's engineer in their response letter has agreed to comply and add details to the plans. Is there any additional testimony you need to make regarding the signs?
Yeah, so, to put on the record, we're gonna conform with the ordinance with a monument sign, less than the maximum 50 square feet. We're at 50 square feet, and, it will not exceed the height requirement for a monument type sign.
He said they're going to comply to the 50.
Mr. Chair, if I may, it's just going to be a backlit sign. That's your pylon sign, backlit, Davis Marine.
Yeah, whether it's landscaped and uplit or something like that, but whatever the requirements are, I mean, we'll comply with whatever it may be.
Okay, all right. Can I, so I just want to ask you, I think most of this would be taken care of.
Yeah.
If I could just, so under stormwater management 5.11, without going too much in the weeds here, do you agree to comply with all our comments? All right, very good. The traffic study has not been submitted for review to support the traffic demand and driveway. A waiver has been requested. You are still requesting that waiver based on the testimony that you provided. You're not going to see a lot of traffic to the site. You don't anticipate it or expect it. Maybe a delivery every so often, a couple people showing up to drop off a boat and then leaving the site, correct?
Yes, technicians and employees would be pretty much the only ones at the facility.
Okay.
To the chair, Adam. So, for people are going to be bringing, you said large boats.
No boats are coming to the facility.
No boats are.
No boats are coming to the facility.
Yeah, the boats that we work on are too large to bring to the building. So we might bring a component back from the boat to fix, but it goes back to the boat and that's it.
So Adam, the fact that matters to you, that there's no outside storage, there's no boats going to be outside.
Correct.
Right? So the only outside stuff would be the cars and trucks from his business.
Right.
Correct.
People come, so there won't be any outside storage at all. That's what I understood. That's why when you said boats coming there, there's
Okay. So,
boats start floating in there with a truck.
nothing. All right, so nothing. Okay, just so it's clear. Thank you, Mr. Goodley.
Mr. Chair, if I may. We're considering a waiver of the traffic study. There's a traffic light adjacent to this property. You don't think we need a traffic study concerning that?
In my opinion, I gotta let Pam speak to this. If the DOT didn't raise concern about needing a driveway access permit, that means they're expecting a low impact as far as the traffic flows are in this area.
Okay.
So I believe that's good enough justification for
That
not
answers
needing
my
a traffic
question. Thank you very much.
agree.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair.
They did require right in, right out only.
So that was a condition that they put on it. Okay. All right.
What did he say?
They required right in, right in.
Right in, right out.
Thank
only.
you. Yes, right in, right out only. Thank you.
Okay.
5.13 goes into tree replacement. There's only 4 trees that were shown proposed to be planted, and a tree survey was not provided. From our site visit, it is believed that there's a substantial amount of 10-inch diameter trees that will be removed. That's the threshold that we have. We recommend a survey of the disturbed limits be completed and compensatory tree plantings proposed. The applicant has noted that a tree survey will be provided. It is still your testimony, that you will comply with that? Very good. Under number 6, general comments, again, not to go through, unless there's objection somewhere in here, not to go through each one, but you will comply with all of our general comments? Okay. And then fees, contributions, and obligations, Mr. Chair, and outside agency approvals all will need to be met or agreed to as well. That concludes our letter.
I have one more question for you, Adam.
So, regarding completeness, so everything that was discussed here with the applicant, is that to your satisfaction that the questions have been answered as far as things that were not answered during completeness?
I would agree. And things that they've agreed to provide and work with us on, I believe that's satisfactory. Again, there was nothing detrimental that stopped us from doing a review of the application, no information that was critical that we were missing as far as completeness goes.
Right, so you're satisfied, you and Pam, that for completeness, you're good, the questions were answered and to your satisfaction?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair. Adam, as long as I've been here, I've never seen anything built on that property. That's virgin ground. Why wouldn't we want an environmental study done?
That's absolutely within the board's purview to require an environmental assessment. They've
did
actually
agree to
provided
that?
testimony saying that they
Oh,
would
okay, I'm
be
sorry.
willing to provide
I
one.
can't hear nothing up here tonight.
No problem.
It's
But
terrible.
yes, they provided testimony that they will provide
Okay,
one if required.
thank you.
Pam, did you have anything else? You're done with your end of the report? Okay.
I do have one point of clarification. When we're discussing the curbing, our engineer has stated that the plan does show, Mr. Fruder, curbing along C-22, correct?
Oh, okay.
You had wanted that? It
Yeah.
is part of the design.
Cool.
Anything else?
I think that's it. I already had, okay.
Mr. Chair, I just have one final. Okay, we've heard a lot of testimony concerning this application. Has the testimony reduced any of the number of waivers they're asking for? Or are we still with the same amount?
I believe it, again, Pam can speak to it too. But
The same amount.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Except for the environmental assessment, if they're providing that, and the tree survey.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, before we go into opening to the public, I know that some public here that would like to at least come up and see the diagram here. We're going to take a short break. We'll turn that around so you can take a look at the diagram, and then we'll come back for and open up to the public. right, coming back on, just a couple clarification. We're going to go back to the professionals. Adam, now that the public has had an opportunity to see the survey and, you know, they could see what we're talking about as far as buffers and everything, can you clarify what your recommendations are for the buffers, what they're not able to comply to, and what a recommendation from you as the professional is?
Sure, absolutely. So, Mr. Chair, along what we'll call, you know, and for purposes of the exhibit with the north, if you reference the north arrow, we'll call it the east and west, east being the rear property line adjacent to the two residential dwellings. There may be more.
You can leave that, man.
In the rear. And then what we'll call is the west or the side lot line, you know, along the pike. There's another residential property. So we'd be looking for up that lot line and then along the rear lot line for the applicant if, you know, we would obviously like to see more mature buffer held onto, but should it stay the way that it is, we would request that the applicant provide a 6-foot-high white vinyl privacy fence along there, as well as interior of that white vinyl privacy fence on their property, providing arborvitae of at least 6 foot in height at time of planting. That way they're able to grow up and actually provide a solid buffer all the way down. There'll be sound attenuation in the meantime with the white privacy fence being there, and then the trees will eventually take over and shield from view all the buildings along that.
And you're saying, Adam, through the chair, that the plantings are gonna be inside the property?
Correct, more inward into the property. So you have fence, you know, most outward, and then coming in onto the property, you have the arborvitaes in line along that white vinyl fence.
Take care of them too, water, whatever.
Correct, exactly,
Take care of
exactly.
The tree survey might show that too.
Right, and the tree, to Pam's point, the tree survey may actually show that additional plantings are needed, which would go towards that requirement of needing the arborvitaes anyway to meet the requirement that they agreed to in providing that tree survey and then figuring out what the compensatory plantings are that they actually need to provide.
So it's to provide the most buffer we can. to-
Exactly, that's the goal.
Neighboring residents,
Right.
That's your goal.
Absolutely.
Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
but
go ahead.
hang on for 1 second.
Okay.
As far as the parking, obviously you were utilizing an automotive repair facility, and you know, that doesn't seem like it really fit here, but we didn't have anything in our ordinance for that. We're talking about 15 spots in total with 1 handicap. Are you in agreement that that is appropriate?
I would be. Again, I don't want to speak for Pam, but go ahead. Pam.
Being that the applicant is an owner already and has an established business, he has a pretty good idea what, you know, his employee base is and what his parking needs are, and I don't have any objection to his testimony that the 15 will sufficiently meet the 7 employees, 2 which are really on site all the time.
Okay. And Adam, did you have something about the trash?
Yeah, the trash enclosures. I just want to clarify, again, it's section 175-137.1 in our code. I don't know if you've had a chance to review it. If there's any conditions in there, again, if you looked it up on your phone that you object to, please let us know. Otherwise, we would assume that you will meet all the conditions contained within that section. Right, can't be in the front yard, has to, you know, assimilate with the building, has to be set back a little bit, landscaped. You will comply. Very good. Nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Adam, concerning the buffer areas, okay, is it safe to, well, strike that. On the side yard buffers, and especially on the rear buffer, is that limitation in relation to the stormwater retention basins? Is that what the issue is?
It is. So
Then my question is, they've got an adjacent property they own. Why not, if it was their wish, they could move everything over to that, and now they have their buffers? Or is that, am I not seeing that right?
stormwater has to be attenuated per the New Jersey regs on your site. You can't.
That is their site.
Offset.
The green, I'm talking about the green area.
Oh, the green area, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, all within their site.
I'm just saying that they look like they're kind of getting squeezed in that spot between the 2 retention structures. just looking at the drawing, if the retention structure was on that undeveloped lot, now they got their buffer area.
Well, as I had mentioned before, there are stormwater regulations that require that green infrastructure be provided close to the source. So you need it close to the source, but where it infringes on the buffers, I made a suggestion that they could narrow the stormwater management basin to provide bigger buffers and extend some of the volume into that green space, if you know what I mean. The filter
Not
strip has to
surely.
be right next to.
Okay,
point to
but
the-
just for discussion's sake, they could put inlets on the parking lot and route it to a basin in that green area.
That's not how green infrastructure works with the new stormwater regs. We can't do that. The filter strip is a green infrastructure, a small-scale green infrastructure, BMP, that is required, one of the requirements of the stormwater regs, that it has to be, you have to provide green infrastructure, small-scale facilities such as the filter strip adjacent to the basins to provide your water quality and your water recharge requirements.
Okay, it was just a thought, just it jumped out at me.
They can make some adjustments to the basin, as I suggested, to get a wider, so that all the slope is, there's a wider buffer. They can make adjustments and push into that. Push the basin as it's shown now, but push it into that green area, which I believe their engineers said that they could work with us on.
Okay, is that the engineer's testimony, that they will work with you?
I would like to double check that.
Go ahead.
Here. Yeah, so this is a low point of the site.
Mm-hmm.
Stormwater wants to be there. So what we're doing is we're kind of bucking the grade, digging all this out to get that storage there. But we could continue to do that and narrow that up, but this can't really fight nature. That's where it all goes. That's there. So, but yeah, it is possible to obtain more trees, move this over a little bit, maybe another 10 feet possibly, because we're cutting it down and we'll cut more into this area.
And you could
I
do
think-
that in the rear as well, correct?
The rear, we have a septic system that needs to be 50 feet from any stormwater system. We don't have sewer out there, so this is a proposed septic system out here.
I'm talking about narrowing that triangle in the rear, No.
No, where the blue area, there you
Blue
go,
area.
that one.
Yeah, so this is all a cut right here. That's why the trees came out. So we could, preserve more of that, cut more in, and then, expand more into this area. That's what we suggested.
Yes.
I think we could accommodate that, yes. Everything drains, we're accepting all the runoff from all the adjacent sites, this site, with the exception of this site, to the left, where some of it comes on and then the rest of it kind of all goes down to the slack site.
Thank you.
We could comply.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So it would be up to the board to make the suggestion of what that minimum buffer width with vegetation would be. It wouldn't necessarily be the 50 feet, because that would take away from the stormwater management too much, I think, but something like 25 feet or,
Well, wouldn't the applicant have to present that recalculation for us to vote on it?
I think, if I may, Mr. Fritter, so the way the development is laid out right now, it actually it preserves the wooded area on site. DEP has been pushing new regulations to keep trees there. That is their regulation. The township had to, pass an ordinance on that.
Right.
So be it.
Right.
So, in that same breath, the DEP has also provided guidance that they want stormwater measures closer to the source. They do not want them piped. They do not want them spread out across the site. They want them close. They've actually reduced the amount of drainage area that can go to one area just to try and spread them out across the site and not have one, large facility. So this obviously meets the regulations, but in saying that, it does twofold. Keeps the development tight and where it should be, and it also prevents them from taking down more trees, which inevitably they would have to replace as per our ordinance.
and not cut into that wooded area remaining too much to be, taking a lot down just to save a little over here. So there needs to be a compromise.
Okay, and that's my question. If they're going to give to accommodate your recommendations and change the design, for us to grant the variance, don't we have to see the updated design?
I think if the design works the way that it is today, again, we don't want them to take out more trees on site. The trees are, we want to keep trees. We want to
I
keep
got
them
you.
on site and everything. Again, the DEP has given guidance that they want areas tight. So if the way that the design is laid out right now, if it actually does work, and we're satisfied with the buffer, the way that it's going to be provided, again, arborvitaes are going to be provided. They have to provide tree compensation based on whatever their tree survey comes back and says. So they actually may need to provide more trees on site in different areas. May not affect their basins, but they have to provide those trees as well. So I think it's a little, going against the grain here and taking down more trees just to replace with smaller saplings that may end up dying.
Yeah.
That's my, perspective on that. So I would say if the design works the way it is and the way that it's shown, it's acceptable as it is. That would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very good. All satisfied?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
We have a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody from the public wishing to address the board on this application? It's the site plan 553 and use variance 25-22.
And whoever comes up to the microphone, you have to just first state your name for the record clearly, and then your address, and I have to swear you in.
Bill Walker, 2453 Corkery Lane.
Okay, sir, do you, right hand, do you swear or affirm? Swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Sir, the mic behind you, since you're in front of it, yeah, just put it in front of you there. Thank you.
What they're not showing you here is there is a house here which is not being shown. House here, and then house here. This is well water and also septic. Now, these retention ponds, and they're talking about 3 foot. This is actually going to be, when you said if they fail, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is it's going to be in these guys' backyards, and what they're not telling you too is that there's a cemetery right here. So if any of this retention ponds fail, it's going to be over into the cemetery, and you might have some coffins popping out of the ground. But and if you notice how this is straight, there's a house here, which this very well could be. You buy this house here, and now you have access to this whole property here. That's why this is so tight, because it looks like they might have something planned for this area. That's why they're not using it at all. Also, too, it states that you need, it says 50 feet is required. Now, I don't know how they decided to just decide, hey, we're going to cut that 50 foot out, and we're going to make a design with our retention pond inside that 50 feet. You keep talking about if you remove trees, you got to replace trees. I don't know what that's all about, because this whole line right here is infested with trees. This whole area, it's infested with trees. So you would, if you kept the 50 foot back, the trees are already there. I don't know what they're talking about, fences and stuff like that. But the 3 foot is just absolutely insane what they're asking for right now, because it's pretty much in these guys' backyards. Retention pond fails. I don't know, talking about grading, but it's just going to wind up here on these people's lawns. And also, too, they were talking about how they're they wouldn't be bringing back any engines or something like that. But you realize these engines are the size of an F-150, and they're saying that there's no there's going to be gas, transmission fluid, there's going to be radiator fluid. And now, if you see the size of these things, if they ever have a problem, these things are going to be filled up with contaminants. And the next thing you know, we're going to have inside our well water here is also going to probably be contaminated also. So I just want to keep this 50-foot barrier. That way we don't have this problem. Because this thing, we get another Sandy or something like that, this whole area could be flooded out, because right now, there is a house right here that's going to be knocked down. That's sitting on the property. And I guess that's all I really have to say. I just really want this 50 foot to maintain. It says that it's required, and it seems like they're trying to, I mean, it's just gone, you know? It's just like 3 feet. We want the 3 feet we're going to stick a retention pond right on the back door of these people, and it's just, I don't know, it just seems like that's incredible what that right there is. You know? That's going to be dangerous somewhere down the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to address the board on this application?
Name and address for the record, sir.
Ron Hegman, 2410 Corker Lane, 2515 Corker Lane.
Swear, raise your right hand, please. Swear affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to be clear on the buffer thing, because I couldn't hear a lot of this tonight anyway. When they said they're asking for the 3 foot, does that mean that it's 3 foot from the property line or 3 foot shy of the 50 foot required?
It's a 3-foot buffer from the property line.
So it's 3 foot from the property line?
Correct.
And earlier I heard something about privacy fences or whatever. Is that going to be all along the side of the existing graveyard and everything? Or is that just on one side?
So, Mr. Engineer, Adam, sorry, Mr. Engineer, Adam, if you can just clarify, the entire back of the property, and then the left side, that would be the entire back, and then the left side of the property along the left side, along the retention pond there, where there's a residence next to. Well, there's a residence there. There's a residence next to there. So to the left of the retention basin there would be the privacy fencing and arborvitae's there as well.
Blue is the basin.
So there are going to be privacy fencing on this side?
On the right side, I don't think anything was requested there. I don't believe anything was requested there.
No, Mr. Chair, if the board so wishes, I mean, that's up to the decision on the board, but that is a cemetery off to the side there. Again,
Yeah,
they can run fence down, but the fence was more for the residents in the back, having some kind of buffer right away. If they did have to clear, to that property line, they have a buffer.
The graveyard are complaining, but the ones on the opposite side, and the graveyard's not very wide. And if you're only 3 foot from that fence line, and you put up a 26-foot building, it's never going to be dark in the backyard there for me at all.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if I
Go
may. Is there a residence on the other side of the graveyard? Is that what you're, on the corner of Corkery and the Black Horse Pike right there? Is that corner, is there another residence there?
There's a residence right in the middle of the graveyard, between the pike and this back property line, yes.
Off of Corkery Lane.
Okay, off of Corkery Lane, okay. If the board chooses, we could run the fence all the way down that property line as well.
3 foot seems like awful close to that property line. Can we keep some kind of natural buffer there, like the trees, it's all wooded
Right.
now.
Mr. Chair, this goes back to more of our testimony. Again, if the applicant is agreeable to leaving more of a buffer, we wouldn't have opposition to that, obviously, but if it was that grading prevented, stormwater drainage prevented this, we saw this as a possible solution. Again, it's up to the board's decision on which way they would like to go, but that's what our recommendation was, as what was presented to us and what was shown on their plan. Without putting words in their mouth, I'm sure they can provide testimony as to what they would like to do.
I think, Adam, you also said that what you were proposing helps with sound as well, noise mitigation?
Correct. It would be a quick fix. You're taking down all the trees. The fence would provide a quick fix for that, and then once the arborvitae's grow, they grow together, they dense up. They would provide a sound buffer as well.
So it's still going to be a 3 foot buffer. Earlier in the meeting, an applicant was asked, can you just move the shed? Can we just move the building? Can we just move everything over, or what's all this have to do over here?
What's that?
This is a building.
Yeah, it's stormwater.
That's my concern. The buffer
think a lot of the issue, from an understanding, the DEP requires a certain amount of stormwater management, and that's what's required for that property. So that's why some of these things are occurring, you know, where you can't just move the building because of the stormwater management. And our professionals can speak to that if they would like, if you want to clarify what I'm saying, if I'm saying what I'm saying is inaccurate.
Yes, the way the stormwater management rules are written, we need to provide stormwater runoff close to the source and green infrastructure components close to the sources in order to provide quantity mitigation, quality mitigation, and recharge provision for stormwater. Moving the building over would not allow us to have any stormwater close if it was using the same footprint. What they have is they pretty much have it in the center of the site. They can, as I mentioned before, provide a 50-foot buffer in the back easily, and just extend the basin into the area that's currently shown as wooded, that they also own. So that can be done, and it will all be connected and still considered close to the source. It's not as easy to do on the left property line because there's only so much land between the building and the property line. Does that answer the question?
Yes. All right. Anybody else from the audience wish to come up and address the board on this application?
My name's Ed Stewart. I live at 1077 Whitehall Road.
Sir, you have to speak up quite a bit.
My name is Ed Stewart. I live on 1077 Whitehall Road.
Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth? You do? Okay.
Looking at the plan there, I don't know how many boats, trailers, and trailers he envisions being there overnight or in process while awaiting parts and things like that. I don't see any storage area for those outside storage.
They're not storing anything outside. That was part of the application. They're not storing anything outside. That was part of the application.
There are no boats outside whatsoever.
None.
I didn't see that.
No problem. Anybody else from the public wishing to address the board on this application? Seeing none, hearing none, motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, before the board, there are essentially two applications. One is for a conditional use variance. The second is for preliminary and final site plan approval. I would suggest that because there's just so many overlapping issues, we need to kind of try to separate those and apply the correct legal reasoning for what we're doing with respect to one being the conditional use variance, second with the preliminary and site plan approval. Now, the conditional use variance that's being sought, it's in a D3 zone. They're asking to permit the use of the light industrial in the area. As Adam placed on the record, and I pointed out, there's certain criteria that must be satisfied, and you must be satisfied if you vote in the positive to grant the conditional use variance. And again, conditional use variance, you are permitted to put conditions on the variance if you decide it would be acceptable. I pointed out for the record that I tell you on the letter of Colliers, section 4.1 through 4.14, both Adam and Pam went through what the requirements are under the D3 use variance, what you must consider in granting if you grant the conditional use variance, what you must consider. Now, it doesn't mean if you do a test, if you will, It doesn't have to be a yes on every one of those. You have to be satisfied, again, by utilizing what the criteria is, the positive criteria versus the negative criteria. And as council pointed out, is this going to adversely affect the area and infringe upon what our master plan is? What effect is it going to have on our master plan overall? You kind of have to take it in isolation. You have to look at it overall. Now, the applicant has agreed to, there was a letter marked as MTZB1 that both of our professionals painfully went through and discussed with the applicant. Most, if not all, of the items that were discussed, for the record, were agreed upon, if I understand everybody correctly. The only real issue that seems to be in contention is the issue over the buffer. So I would just suggest, if you decide that, again, you're going to make a motion to approve the conditional use variance, because legally that's what's required. It has to be in the affirmative. And you may be a person, you can vote no, but somebody has to make the motion in the affirmative with the understanding that the applicant's going to adhere to all the agreements and conditions that are set forth in the review letter. Their attorney responded to the review letter agreeing to many things, and there's also testimony on the record this evening regarding the items that they agreed to. So I think for the most part, they've agreed to everything. The exception of the item that's still kind of up in the air, if you will, is the buffer area in the back and on the western side, if you will. So you would need a motion to approve the conditional use variance, and then if that passes, then we'll move on to preliminary and site plan.
Can we comment at all?
What?
Can we comment at all?
Comment. Somebody's going to make the motion. You have a question? You need a motion first.
Motion to approve the conditional use variance.
Second.
We need reasons. For the purposes of the record, we need reasons on the record. Why are we agreeing with, why are we making the motion? I mean, put anybody on the spot, but that's a legal requirement.
No, that's fine. Based on the applicants will have to confirm in their return letter to Collier that they will confirm to all requests based on testimony heard tonight. I'm making a motion to approve conditional use variance.
Thank you. Yeah, any questions?
So I'm just going to pose the question to you, Mr. Rice. We did hear from the public that one buffer in particular is in contention here, I think at back. And I think our engineer has also commented that it's possible to change that, at the very least give the residents some relief there. Does that change your opinion at all?
It doesn't change my opinion. I've heard from engineers that as we're trying to do the best based on DEP regs of taking trees out. I think I've heard testimony to confirm with that they would about the fence and then the ivies on the interior to help satisfy the concerns of the public related to the buffer.
Okay, so we had a motion. Did we have a second on that motion?
Yeah, that was me.
Mr. Fuder?
Roll call.
Mr. Rice, for the use variance.
Yes, I believe based on the testimony and also the applicants being willing to confirm all guidance given by professionals. Yes.
Mr. Fuder,
Yes, I'm in agreement with Mr. Rice.
Mr. Carino,
No, I think the free-flow buffer at the back is just too small now. If they could work with the neighborhood, maybe, or something like that, that would be something to do.
Mr. Hefner,
Be no. The buffer requirement can be met if they rework this design.
Mr. Kozak,
No, I agree with Mr.
Mr. McGeehan,
No.
Mr. Colavito,
While I agree that the applicant did meet some of the requirements of our professionals, not meeting that 50-foot requirement, despite the fact that they can, I'm a no.
denied.
So the use variance was denied, so we don't need to move on to preliminary and final. Okay, thank you.
Go to the next application.
Chairman,
Ma'am?
engineer is saying that we did agree to meet the 50-foot buffer requirement.
I guess to what dimension though? That's probably, I think, I'm not gonna speak for the board, but maybe they could provide what their confusion was, because it was talk about many different things, council.
Yeah, as far as we had when we, voting on this, and, we did, again, when we came back from our adjournment, we had the engineer speak of it again, and it was still a 3-foot buffer, which I think that would, it appears anyway, and I can't speak for everybody on the board, but it appears that they did speak to that, retaining the 3-foot buffer, and that was a major issue of contention.
I think what I heard was that the engineer expressed that it would be up to the board to tell us what your preferred way of handling the buffer was, whether you were going to tell the applicant that he had to meet the 50-foot buffer requirement, or if you were going to tell him to increase the buffer or something like that. But what the engineer's direct testimony was that we would meet the buffer requirement and redesign if that was the board's pleasure.
I don't remember hearing that.
Again, this is highly unusual. Are you asking the board to reconsider? Because that's highly unusual. And now you may be offering something a little bit different, and I think that wasn't articulated very clearly before. It was very much up in the air. It truly was. I'm sitting here, everybody's listening, and I don't vote. It's only my perception. And, if the board wants to, there's going to be a motion to reconsider, you certainly could do that. Tonight has to be the time when you do that. A motion for reconsideration, if they would agree to a 100-foot buffer or a 50-foot buffer, or whatever that may be. So,
Okay, then I guess I will say that we ask the board to reconsider based on a misunderstanding in that the applicant did agree that that the engineer said he could redesign to meet the requirement if that's what the board needed in order to approve the conditional use variance.
you can make a motion to reconsider it. And also take into account, we're talking about the back portion. Also the western side, which you never can meet the buffer requirement on that. You could, but it's going to be tight.
Right. Let's kick back to our engineer for a second, please.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may, again, it was not clear. Normally we obviously throw recommendations out there. We would expect council to come up and say, hey, we will agree to the 50-foot buffer or whatever they're proposing. As the plan's laid out is what we see. I did not recall hearing that they were agreeing to the 50-foot buffer, providing a 50-foot buffer, or changing things around. If that is in fact what they will be doing, that's up for the board's consideration, but I didn't have clarity on that.
Okay, I agree with you. I don't think the board had clarity on that, and the council, I don't think was clear either.
Pam even brought that up, that it can be met, but they would have to change the plan and stuff.
Yeah, it can easily be met along the rear property line. It can't be met as easily, or it would be detrimental to be a full 50 on the western or the left property line, because they wouldn't be able to fit the stormwater in there. So something more like 25, so under the D3 conditional use variance, and Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, there could be different buffer widths for different parts of the site plan. So you're granting a D3 for this side, and not for this side. They have to meet the rear, but on the left, they can go to a lesser standard. And it's not as much of an issue on the right-hand side because it's not adjacent to a residential use or a zone there.
I think, Mr. Chair, if I may, we just need to hear from the applicant specifically on what they're willing to do and what they're willing to provide, and just get clarity that way for the board's clarity and for ours as well.
So I don't need a motion.
Just hear clarity before the board can vote on it. So if the engineer can provide the engineering clarity to it rather than the attorney clarity.
Yes, it was our intent to comply, with all the comments, and you see we get a response letter back and we complied with everything. That was our intention, to come before the board and comply and follow all the DEP rules and whatnot. There's a lot of discussion about the buffer, what we do. I do believe I said that, we're looking for, we can change that, we can make that work. Then there was a lot of discussion about fencing and all that. I didn't say anything because we were talking about, maybe that's what the board wanted to see. We understood that the board said, no, we're gonna deny you if you don't do this buffer. We certainly complied, just like every other item, we agreed to comply on this letter. We came in good faith to comply and follow the board's wishes. And that's what we will comply. We will revise the layout as necessary. If we have to widen the building and shorten them up to make that buffer, we certainly will comply with that.
And I think, along with your clarity, you should probably give us some recommendations of what you may or propose. Go ahead, sir.
So on the rendering,
If you can use the microphone, please, sir.
so on the rendering, if we were to just get rid of this rocked area back here, move the fence further, that's 30 feet. And then in addition, with the rocked area gone, I assume the basin would be less. So hopefully we'd then gain the 50-foot buffer. I would prefer to keep this all wooded for the residents that are behind it. I don't want to disturb them. I'd rather keep it as it was, to just make it like as it was, with as little impact as we could. So what if we were to get rid of this rocked area, bring everything a little closer, see what the figures are for the basin, and just
we could
bring it down? Yeah.
So the applicant would agree to the 50-foot buffer in the back. You have to revise the plan to show that. Okay. In the back, I'm saying the back portion.
Yep.
Now on the side.
We'll move this in as much as possible. Again, if we need to, if you say it's 50 feet everywhere, we'll reduce this.
All right, slide this in.
Yeah, we'll
Closer.
slide that in. We'll lose
Yeah.
some of this, just have enough for the truck to turn. We are over parked. We'll lose a couple parking spaces with that. We can certainly make that happen, or we'll double load. We'll do something else with it to comply. Through the DOT, obviously we spent a lot of time and effort in this and got all the approvals lined up. And it wasn't our intention not to comply with the board wishes.
Now, when you're talking about a buffer, give us more information. Would it be a natural buffer, or would you still go with the engineer's recommendation with the arborvitaes and the fence? What would you?
At this point, we're open to what the board wants to see there. If you want to see it all natural, we'll leave it as natural. If you want to do half and half, I mean, Mr. Davis wants to be a good neighbor to his neighbors.
Truly.
Wants to comply, and again, he's spent a year with this, and he wants to build this and have it ready for the township.
It sounds like with the buffer, there's going to be, because of the tree ordinance, there's going to be some compensatory trees, so they could be planting of those trees in the areas that perhaps are sparse, if you will.
Correct.
Sure.
And that's something that the engineer could work with.
Yeah,
you
we've
on.
agreed to work with Mr. Harbaugh, what we'd like to have that plan to satisfaction.
Absolutely. I think just the clarity. Again, this is what we needed. We just needed clarity on what you can do as far as the engineering design goes, what you can't do. That's, again, why the fence was brought up, why, based on what you laid out here and what you presented, that's what we were going off of. So, again, whatever you can provide, I think you provided clarity, and that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Do you have anything else to?
Is there any other questions the board has about that would prevent that?
Good, sir.
Just to be clear, last comment. So you're gonna put a 50-foot buffer along the back, rear?
That's the
with
intention.
trees and a
Yes.
fence?
Well,
If you want the fence, we'll put the fence.
Right,
We're
but
gonna
if-
ask what the board wants.
That was
it's
on
not
the-
what I want. Are you gonna do it? Because this is what I feel like we got a little confused on last time.
I said, we were asking the board for what they wanted to see. We're maybe asking the engineer.
I think we need to kick it back to Adam and
Yeah, whatever they want. Yeah, I agree. I just want to hear it said, we can do this, we can do that. Stop saying.
Yep.
We will do this, and we will do that.
let's kick it back to Adam and
So, Mr. Carino, if what I'm hearing is correct, again, along the, whatever way the north arrow is facing, so along the east property boundary with those houses, you're proposing a 50-foot buffer, wooded, fully vegetated. That's what you're going to leave along that property
We'll
line.
leave the existing trees there, we'll stay 50 foot from the property line, relocate this, we'll go into here.
Okay. All right, so there'll be a 50-foot buffer. Now,
No fence?
no fence, because if you're going to do a fence, you're going to end up taking down trees. You're going to go in there to take down the trees. So, now along the, let's flip over to the west side now. And what are we proposing to do along the west side?
we can narrow this down, we can still do a small scale green infrastructure in the basin, we'll just have to dig out more this way.
But I think we need some kind of definitive, you know,
number.
what are you gonna do?
Number,
What size buffer?
we can, I think we do easily do a 20 or 25 foot buffer on that side.
20 or 25?
Yeah, we can 25.
25. Can you make 25 work? Okay, so 25 foot, are you proposing wooded as it remains today, or are you proposing
We
to
can
plant?
do wooded, and if you want to add a fence in that too, since it's not the 50, if that would make the residents more comfortable.
If we were to plant trees there, because like what's there is, you know, overgrown, and once you start clearing, it's probably not gonna be appealing.
Correct, I would agree.
So if
Once
we-
you get down to
if we
20 feet.
Cleared it, and then planted back trees that were appealing, whatever it may be, it's required.
I would agree. So
And, you know, do a
50
tree-
foot natural in the back.
Yes.
Along the side, provide your 25 feet, plant that 25 feet, as well as a privacy fence along that side. Is that what you're proposing?
Correct, that's correct, that's what we're proposing.
Okay.
Chair,
Sir?
the gentleman that came up from the public had concerns on the right side. I know the cemetery's there, but he said towards the back, that's where it's residents are.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
we're not gonna address that.
If-
Somebody-
If that's what, Mr. Kozak, to the point, that's what we were presented, we were offering a solution to, if the applicant agreed to that, to provide that buffer. If they want to maintain the 50 feet, that's what is required by our ordinance, is a 50-foot buffer. Correct.
Cemetery
Correct,
side as well.
exactly, yes.
And he brought up that there's some residents there,
Mhm.
not in the cemetery, towards the back.
Across it. So resident would be right here, and the intentions were to plant trees down this fence line as well. Like, we're
So-
gonna clear the property that's needed, and then replant trees on either side to just give that natural barrier. So we're not doing fences and.
Right, I think to
leaving it
to
flat.
your point, when you're talking about clearing,
Yeah.
right, there may be deciduous trees in the back. Maybe we do a row of arborvitae along the back, provide an evergreen buffer in front of your 50 feet on your side of the site, one
Okay.
row, one solid row down that side. And then along this, you know, the western side, like we talked about, do a fence, 25 feet, and plant arborvitae inside that fenced area. So
Okay.
on the back, you're keeping 50 foot of mature buffer,
Yes.
plus a row of arborvitae in front of that mature buffer. And then down the side, there'll be a fence, 6-foot high privacy fence. Don't encroach on the front yard. That's not my whole thing. Down the side, we're gonna stop, meet the ordinance requirements, and then plant along that side, correct?
25 here with the fence, ordinance requirement here with the fence, and we're talking about this side now, right?
I think you said arborvitae's in the back, no fence in the back.
Yeah, no fence.
Natural with arborvitae's.
Now,
Fence and tree line there.
Fence and tree line here, and what did we discuss on this side? The cemetery.
can you keep trees on that side?
Do trees on that side.
If
yeah.
you can keep trees on that side, so you're gonna keep a 50-foot buffer from the Black Horse Pike all the way up around the
Oh,
back.
on the left side? No.
Right side?
So on the right side, we would clear it and put back trees that are, you know, adequate to keep a natural buffer.
The cemetery is there.
The gentleman brought up that towards the back,
There,
So I understand being worried about overflow from the lights. There aren't any lights back there. I think you'll be fine as far as light loss from the top.
So how about coming up to the basin on that, we'll call it the
On
east
the-
side?
this side here?
From the back, coming up to the basin, because I think the residents on,
50 foot here.
right, and then going up,
With evergreens.
going up to, yeah. If you have room,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there's grading going on here.
okay.
So-
Oh, I see, so it's
So
slow.
what's happened with the DEP rules is you can only have 2.5 acres to each basin. And unfortunately, we're receiving all this. And so we have to have a basin this size, just what the DEP requires for that drainage area. And I'm receiving that 2.5 on this side. In a perfect world, we would take this stormwater, put it in this basin. We can't. Our hands are tied with DEP regulations. And we're designing out the year 2100. So our 10-year storm now is the 100-year storm now is our new 10-year storm. So we're talking about 14 inches of rain in 24 hours. We're nervous.
DEP, it's not us.
Just say
So Adam, we're clear on that?
I think, yes, we're clear on that, of what we're gonna do. Yes.
I'm clear as long as the board's clear.
Anything else to add?
I think that's it. I think it supports it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Board, this is a little unusual, but we've heard additional testimony, and the applicant is asking us to revise or reconsider our previous decision. Is there any motion from the board?
Motion to reconsider.
Second.
With the conditions that the applicant has agreed to, as recommended by our engineer and the planner and the board discussed. I knew that.
Had a motion and a second by Mr. Rice. Yeah.
Mr. Hefner, for reconsideration.
Yes.
Mr. Rice.
Yes.
Mr. Carino.
Yes.
Mr. Kozak.
Yes, with the motion that amends the buffers.
Mr. McGeehan.
Yes.
Mr. Fruder.
Yes.
Mr. Colavita.
With the additional information, yes.
Okay, this is approved.
So we've reconsidered our previous and heard from the applicant. Do we have any additional motion?
Motion.
This is regarding the site plan.
Site, both preliminary and final site plan with all the terms and conditions that were placed on the record and all the agreements set forth in the correspondence. And of course, it's subject to all outside agencies, fire marshal, NJDEP, Pinelands, satisfying COA obligations and so on. So we need a motion to approve.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Question on the motion. Is this, we're at preliminary and final right now?
Final. They've requested preliminary and final. Which you can request that. It's a little unusual, but you can request both.
But we already reconsidered, so we voted in the affirmative for their,
On the use variance, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
and that, so they got that.
Yes, they were approved for the D3 variance.
Okay.
Now we're voting on preliminary and final in one resolution or one motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, please. I'd like to recommend approval for preliminary site plan, but not final, being that the reasoning that there's going to be design changes on the drawing that need to be accomplished prior to final.
I believe we already had a motion on the floor.
All right, was there a first, and then I interrupted probably, right?
Well, you were clarified.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have a motion to approve. We have a first, we have a second.
You can pose a question to him about his motion.
Well, you heard what I said. It's like, I'm all for preliminary, but for final, there's several design changes. Okay.
Roll call?
Mr. Carino?
Yes, that's the working manager, professionals, and setbacks and everything, yes.
Mr. McGeehan?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Hefner?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Kozak?
Yes, that's the
Mr. Rice?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Fruder?
No, as stated.
Mr. Colavita?
Yes, I believe that they are now working with our engineers to improve their plan, and it gives the residents in the area a little more relief.
You're approved.
It'll take 2 minutes to clear the room.
They still have to perfect the plans, and they will go back and forth with them before they can get any permits to do any work, just if that puts you at ease. So everything that they agreed to tonight has to go through resolution compliance. They have to meet all the conditions before they can do anything.
Okay.
We have a couple, at least another application, but I'm going to give 2 minutes. Anybody that doesn't want to remain for the additional applications, you're free to go on with your day. Scott. Off record.
This for Bob's autograph, though.
Next item of business on the agenda is application 25-27, Michael Mahalik, lot coverage variance. Come on up. Thanks for bearing with us and enjoying the meeting tonight. For the record,
Go ahead, go ahead. I said it enough tonight.
for the record, state your name.
Michael Mahalik,
And your address as well.
206 Nelson Drive.
Okay, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth this evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In your own words, sir, can you tell the board why you're here today?
I'm here tonight because I'd like a pole barn accessory building constructed on my property. It just provides a hardship not having it because my house doesn't have a basement or readily accessible attic space, so I don't have storage for large and cumbersome items.
What is the size of your residence?
The size of my whole lot is half an acre.
Your home. Your home. What is the square footage of your home?
It's 1,710,
And your proposed building?
576. I'm sorry?
How big is the building again?
576 square feet, 24 by 24.
Yeah.
That's the proposed pole barn.
Yeah.
And your house again is?
1710.
It's still-
Still
yeah, it's-
So I guess this was pre-existing?
Yes.
The lot coverage?
Yes.
Or the lot frontage?
Yes, the only thing he has an issue with is the lot coverage, yes. They are addressing this, even though it's not something really that the bulk variance gets into.
Percent
They can-
of nine.
We're allowed 275%.
Saying 22%, where 10% is required. As far as the buildings, there any commercial business
No,
or
sir.
anything to?
No, just strictly for my use.
No plumbing or anything in there for like a
No
bathroom? or-
plumbing.
So,
Wait a second here.
do you or any of your neighbors, have any of your neighbors complained about any type of water runoff or drainage issues?
No.
Flooding?
No, nothing like that.
Is there, through the chair, looking at it's gonna be with gravel, the driveway?
I'm sorry?
The driveway to from Nelson to your pole.
Is asphalt.
Asphalt.
Yes, sir.
Is that existing already?
Yes.
You're addressing this?
Through the chair.
Good, sir.
What's the height of the building?
So the walls are 8 feet. The peak of the A-frame will be 12 foot 8 and 11/16.
Okay, and going by the diagram you show here, you're actually showing a pole barn actually in front of the house.
No, it's supposed to be flush with the house.
Okay, even that's really not, I believe that's not allowed by ordinance. Would you be willing to move that back some?
Sure. Whatever would put me within spec, I
Okay.
guess. Could I add something?
I would have to, I just know they can't be flush with the building, right? It can't be a forward or a flush, they gotta be so far behind the house.
Can't be, I can't be in front of.
It can't be in front of.
He's at so many feet that if he says he's gonna be equal to.
Yes. As far as I knew, it just had to be flush.
Okay.
Your diagram doesn't show that.
Yeah, it doesn't show it that way.
Your survey.
Your survey shows it.
Excuse me, could I introduce who I have here with me? It's Wayne Rorta with Bryson Yates Engineering Consults.
Raise your right hand. Swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
And you are a full-fledged professional, correct?
Correct.
You've testified before this board and many other boards before,
For
right?
this board, some other boards, I currently sit as the planning board planner in Gibbstown, as well as the planning board engineer planner in Clayton.
That's what's wrong with Clayton.
Sir, do you have anything of substance to add to us tonight?
So I just want to clarify a couple things. So in terms of Mr. Kozak's question in regards to location of the proposed pole barn. So I apologize, but on the exhibit you have in front of you, we show everything in cyan. So the small rectangle in front of what I would call the bigger square is essentially going to be a concrete pad in front of the actual.
Oh, yeah, that's the concrete.
That's what
Sorry.
that's what Mike was referring to in regards to the intent is to have the pole barn, the facade of the pole barn in line with the facade of the house. That rectangle in front is a concrete pad and square off the area to give it something square so we can, so rather than redo the driveway, put in a pad so the paddles, a slight angle in front, but square with the actual pole barn.
Grading plan. Grading plan. What did it review?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
If I may. I just have a quick one for you. On your drawing, you're indicating the new pole barn in cyan. What's the side yard setback there?
So the side yard setback that we're proposing is 10.15 feet. So that is one of the items that we want to discuss. So the application before you is for variance for the big ticket item, I'll call it, is for the impervious coverage. So obviously exceeding the maximum allowable impervious coverage. There are 3 pre-existing non-conformities I would like to highlight and ask for those variances as well. And then the last item, I'll say second to last item I was going to bring up was in regards to the side yard setback. So just to kind of dial it back real quick in regards to the 3 pre-existing non-conformities this particular property has. One is the zone requires, in this case for the rural development agricultural zone. Minimum lot area for this zone is 1 acre. Currently we're at 0.52 acres. It's pre-existing non-conformance. I figured since we're here tonight, we could just as soon ask for the variance just to have it formalized, on record that, hopefully the board agrees that this is, going to be an allowable continuation of the pre-existing non-conformity. Same regards to lot width, 150 feet is required, 125 feet exists today. Third one is in regards to minimum lot frontage. Again, 150 feet is required, we have 125 feet today, so where the lot is configured currently.
What was the first one you said?
Sorry, go ahead.
What was the first one?
The first one was in regards to lot area.
Lot area, okay.
Minimum 1 acre, the lot is currently 0.52 acres.
Thank you.
So those are the 3 pre-existing non-conformities. Ordinarily, we would have to ask for variances, but again, I figure I'd take advantage of the fact that we're here in front of the board tonight, ask for those variances so they would be formally approved as opposed to just being pre-existing non-conformities.
Did you say something earlier about a side yard?
So the side yard setback, to answer Mr. Fruiter's question and concern. So there is a caveat in your code in regards to setback requirements. So what I'm going to refer to is section 175-89 F2. In this case, I'll read through as far as what said 175-89F reads, a storage shed shall be permitted as an accessory use in all zones provided. There are 2 conditions or 2 criteria. The first one is for any shed up to 300 square feet must be 5 feet from the side property line and 5 feet from the rear property, excluding corner lots. A shed is never permitted in the front of the home. Second condition, or second, condition to be met, I guess. Any accessory storage building greater than 300 square feet shall be permitted to have a maximum height of 22 feet from the ground level to its peak and is subject to compliance with setbacks of the zone for accessory structures. So with that, this particular zone, the RDA zone, requires 20-foot wide side yard setbacks. So we're proposing 10.15, so that is another variance we're going to be asking for tonight, is in regard to the side yard setback. So because of the fact that the building, the pole barn proposed is 576 square feet, it's over the 300, it has to be adhered to the zone's setback requirements. So in this case, we're looking at 20. The reason why we have it 10 feet away is because we'd like to have it adjacent to the house, at the end of the driveway. The solution in this case would be a couple of things. One is move the house, we're not proposing that. And then if we were to situate the pole barn in the rear of the home, we're now going to be adding more impervious surface or gravel surface to get back to it. It'd be an odd configuration. So we're asking for consideration for what I would say is maximizing the efficient use of the land, putting the pole barn adjacent to the house. So if you look at the surrounding houses on this particular Placo would describe it as dead-end development. So the way Nelson is configured, you have houses on both sides. If you look at some of the houses there across the street, you know, diagonal catty corners, people have the same configuration as far as house, either detached garage or pole barn, if you will, and similar in nature. So we're trying to keep with that same character of the neighborhood. So again, for those reasons, we offer and ask for consideration for a 10.15 setback and below 20 feet.
Okay, and another part of our code is that the auxiliary building would need to be similar color as the
Yes.
the
Sure.
main building.
You're not doing anything
So what are you gonna do?
You're going to keep in tune with your house itself.
Yep. Yes, yes.
So same color siding or something along those
Yes.
lines? Go ahead.
Looking at your survey or diagram, between the house and the proposed building, that space there, it's about 10 feet.
About that, yeah, 10 feet.
So one other thing we are adding is a quick drain with a pop-up emitter, if you will, to try and take in some stormwater runoff. So again, to try to offset the increase of impervious area, whereas we fall underneath the state requirements in terms of, you know, the need for additional stormwater management for water quality attenuation. We're under the quarter-acre of new impervious and motor vehicle surface. The surface we're including is primarily that of what I would call clean roof runoff in terms of for the building itself, a little motor vehicle surface for the concrete pad in front of the pole barn to the driveway. But to kind of offset that, we're looking for installing a wick drain with a pop-up, so that if any excess water comes through, try to get as much as we can from the ground, pop up, a little bit can drain out to the rear and enter into the swale at the rear of the property. This way maintaining the existing drainage stormwater pattern.
And that's one of the reasons why you can't go closer to the
Correct.
house too.
Trying to get that wick drain in there. so
You
we
said
can-
that was 20 feet between the house, well, you could go 10 foot, but you're only dealing with 10 foot.
Yeah,
So if you put it next thing you know, the house and the building will be like
yeah,
touching.
trying to
So
offset.
it doesn't give you the ability to move it.
Correct.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
One last thing we are looking for, and again, I will call it somewhat of a formality, is design waiver from section 175-117.1 F3 in regards to minimum slopes in the yard. So the ordinance requires 2%, where we're looking to go down to 1.5%. I will add that your municipal engineer, Remington and Burdick, has already approved the grading plan with that 1.5%. So by virtue of that, you know, approval, I'm going to say or refer that they were okay with that waiver. I will formally ask for that waiver for you guys to have.
So you're saying engineers are always right, okay.
Well,
We don't really have,
That was just part of the grading plan, I don't think that should be part of this.
Yeah, they're right until they're wrong.
exactly.
Mr. Hefner?
Yeah, if this does get approved with the way the pole barn's set up, with the shed and the concrete pad in the back, that looks almost over 30 feet long. Is that still gonna be required, or is that something you're gonna remove?
If, I was planning to keep it, if necessary, it could be removed.
What's the size of that with the concrete
The
pad?
shed,
The shed and a concrete pad?
I know the shed is 8 by 10, concrete pad is 16 by 10.
Okay. Because like I say, we're looking for impervious coverage here.
If we're putting up a big building here, we could actually remove that other one.
Okay, thank you.
If I could offer that, that impervious in the rear is not what I would call the bad impervious in terms of motor vehicle surface. So again, in terms of if you even say it or, you know, consider it as what it is, it's what, you know, it's the cleanest runoff we can get in terms of impervious surface. So while it's offensive in the sense that it's impervious surface, I would kind of point out that it's not motor vehicle surface.
Still concrete pad, though.
Still concrete.
Thank you.
Is there any drainage problems in the back of the property where
No, not,
the neighbors will be coming in now and
not that I've ever had, no.
All right, any more questions? Do we need to do completeness?
No, it's complete. It's complete. We have everything.
Okay. Do we need to do completeness?
do completeness? No, we don't usually do completeness. Do we? Okay, let's do it then. Let's do it then.
I neglected to ask for completeness. Our secretary indicates that the application is complete. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any other additional questions? Entertain a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone from the public wishing to address this application before the board? Seeing none, hearing none, motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so we've heard the testimony from not only the applicant, but he brought a friend with him that knew what he was talking about tonight, and addressed some things that he probably would have never known. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Carino?
Wait, I'm
No,
sorry.
Go ahead. You summarized it accurately for me.
It's been a long week.
Well, only that
Do you
it
want-
won't be used for any,
Won't be used for any commercial purposes, adding the color to it and so on. Oh, you're good. I don't want to muddy the waters.
Sorry, I'll start it with Mr. Carino?
Yes.
Mr. Fruder?
Yes.
Mr. Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Kozak?
yes, provide the percentage he needs in the variance he needs, that he won't be doing any work in there, any outside, contracting, and the color will match.
Mr. McGee? Yeah. Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Colavito?
According to Mr. Kozak's summary, yes.
You're approved.
Thank you very much.
I just want to put one thing on the record, though, that the administrator brought it to my attention. You sent out the certified mailings, and obviously you probably got the addresses from the clerk's office, from the
Yes.
tax assessor. There was one envelope that was returned, it was Comcast Cable, at their
Yes.
Vineland address, it says return to sender vacant, unable to forward. So just, if they far be it would come forward and object, which they probably wouldn't, they could potentially try to reopen the matter, but I doubt that very highly, but we had to put that on the record, okay?
Okay.
You're all good, thanks.
Understood.
And I want to know about cleanest runoff, runoff drainage.
That's-
good.
that's a
I've
good
never
one.
heard of that before.
Thank you.
Last application before us tonight, 25-28, 3781 Lake LLC, front yard variance.
Here's a question, I think.
I'll jump in front of you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. My name is Bill Nash. I'm here on behalf of the applicant 3781 Lake LLC. We're seeking a bulk variance to reduce the front yard setback from 40 feet to 25 feet for a single-family home. I can address both the positive and negative criteria. We don't have any engineers with us, and I have my client who can testify.
Will your client be speaking tonight? Will your client be testifying tonight?
Yes.
State your name for the record. Yeah, fine, or you can talk loudly.
Dave Goldman.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth,
I do.
and also your address.
What's that? Oh, my
Your
address?
address.
1067 Huntington Drive, Williamstown, New Jersey.
For the positive criteria, the property is constrained by dual buffer requirements. There's a 40-foot setback from the lake, and I'll explain that to you in a minute, and a 40-foot front yard buffer that we're trying to get relief from. And these restrictions render the property unusable for constructing a home, effectively zoning it into inutility. The situation would constitute an exceptional hardship. And with respect to the negative criteria, granting the variance will not result in a substantial detriment to the public good and will not impair the intent and purpose of the zoning plan. And we can address both of these with Mr. Goldman's testimony. So we provided everyone these pamphlets. All right, so Mr. Goldman, I'd like to ask you, first take a look at the cover of the pamphlet. What is this depict?
This is an image of the home plan that we intend to build on that site. if permitted.
And currently, if I can have everyone turn to, if you open up the booklet, this third page, I guess it would be this one right here, depicts existing structure on the property, correct?
Correct.
And exactly what is, can you describe what the structure is?
It's a totally dilapidated, unsafe structure. I believe the roof is missing. I'm not sure how long it's been there. It appears to have been there a while in that condition.
And this property is a Pinelands property, correct?
Correct.
All right, and if we turn to the last page of the pamphlet, we have the certificate of filing. And if I can direct your attention to the conditions, what's one of the conditions that's required if you are reconstructing the dwelling that's there?
The new structure can get no closer to the lake than the existing structure.
And what is the distance between the existing structure and the high mark on the lake?
It's approximately 40 feet.
Okay. If you have a 40 feet buffer in the front and a 40 feet buffer in the back, are you able to construct this house?
This home does not fit under those constraints.
All right. And so you're essentially asking for a 15-foot waiver from the front buffer, reduction of 15 feet, correct?
Correct. Given the increased rear yard setback, we're hoping to flop it with the front yard setback. That way this home will fit. I think it's a really nice home for that area. It's a lakefront property, and this is a modern lakefront design. We believe the economics of building a home of this size and appearance would work on that lot and would help remedy what's basically an abandoned eyesore and dangerous site to something really attractive.
Right. What's actually behind this property? Sorry if I'm...
Lake.
Lower Victory Lake would be the lake line. Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry, what's that?
It's it off Whitehall Road.
Off Whitehall Road?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Whitehall Road. We're on Lake
Okay.
Ave. Whitehall Road is, I guess, yeah.
He was explaining to me the area, so I understood what was behind
Gotcha,
it.
got it.
There's a couple Lake Avenues.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
that's where I was confused.
Through the chair. A lot of the houses are on Lake Avenue there. They all do sit back. What's the frontage of other houses in the area?
I mean, it's a little varied. I mean, it's an older community, so I think everyone sort of has some workarounds to their site. There was another home that's not on the lake that was available for, it needs to be torn down on that street, but that home was, that was effectively on the street. That was very close.
On the bend,
Exactly, yeah. Yep.
but not on the lake side.
Not on the lake side, so yeah, there's variation.
The ones that are along the lake side where you're proposing this,
Uh-huh.
like you said, they vary or some
To
setbacks.
my eye, I didn't measure them all, but just driving
No,
up and down the
you
street,
should
yeah,
measure.
yeah. I think there was a couple here that was curious about what we were doing. They left. We were just talking a little bit. They're a few houses down from us. They were excited for it, but they had mentioned that they wanted a backyard and they had to try to push their property as far forward as they could for that reason. I don't believe, they intimated they were much less than 40 foot from their property line. The existing property is not much less, it's 37. So I don't know what point, I imagine there's a difference between when the 40-foot setback was put in place and when a lot of those homes were built. So I believe many of them are within 40 feet.
Is there public water and sewer here?
It's public sewer.
Sewers and well water?
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about the septic in.
Correct. Yep. That's right.
Mr. Chairman.
Good.
I don't. So it's the intent to demolish the existing structure and install a new structure, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Was the prior structure in compliance for setbacks? That wasn't meeting the requirements either?
Correct. It was, according to the survey, it was 37-foot setback.
Okay.
Front yard.
See, my question, I guess the point of my question is, now you're asking for a variance because you want to build a bigger house, is what's happening?
Correct. The economics of rebuilding that house just wouldn't work. I think it would just remain an eyesore and a hazard.
Oh, yeah, I understand. That's not what I meant. It's
Sure.
like, you don't want to build one with the same footprint. You want a bigger footprint.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Anybody from the public wishing to speak on this application? Seeing none, hearing none, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, before the board is application number 2528-3781 Lake LLC. The applicant seeking a front yard variance to allow 25 feet where 40 feet is required. Subject matter property is 3781 Lake Avenue in the RGMR zoning district. The applicant, as well as the attorney, provided information regarding the balance test that must occur between the positive and negative criteria. The applicants also described the area as far as the setbacks of homes and setback from the lake and so on, and this is kind of confirmed what the area is.
All right, we heard the testimony and a summary by our solicitor.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Carino? Mr. Hefner?
I'm very aware of the property. Most of those old houses on the lake were all hunting cabins. They got converted. The front yard setbacks are all over the place in that area, so yes, it would be a big improvement down there.
Mr. Kozak?
Yes, for the reasons stated by the previous,
Mr. Rice?
Yes, as previously stated.
Mr. McGeehan?
Yes.
Mr. Fuder?
Yes, as stated.
Mr. Colavita?
Yes, it's an improvement to the area, and the setback would kind of fall in line with the scattered setbacks in the area.
Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks for waiting.
So sorry that didn't work out to get you guys on ahead.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, open to the public.
So moved.
to the public, goes out.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody from the public wishing to address the board? Seeing none, hearing none, motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Approval of minutes, minutes from September 8th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any reports for this evening?
No reports.
And just, that was a tough application, that first application. Second one?
Just to be on the record?
No.
Let's adjourn.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now Chuck can speak.
That was a tough
Freely.
application. And I-
Speak freely.
Sometimes I come across, I don't mean to be like a bully, but you guys did a good job of putting things on the record, and that's what's important. Put as much on the as possible on the record, ask all relevant, good questions, and just be very clear. So we kind of worked it. Good job. So.